Sportsman. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. Johnny Hill producing as always. We're Sports Time, and we're with you for the next 3 weekends after the next 3 hours after a busy weekend. It was a very busy weekend. Masters, Scotty Scheffler really walked away with it and walked away with it early. We had a lot of spring games, a lot of Tiger news over the weekend, both I guess Tiger Woods and the Memphis Tigers. Baseball, so plenty to get to. NBA final regular season day of action yesterday, so a lot to get to over these next 3 hours. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing well, Bryant. We had the rollout of the new Kentucky basketball coach. Rupp Arena wanted to show Fayetteville what they could do, and they packed it to the rafters. And to me, it was a nice demonstration. Mm-hmm. Look, I know every Kentucky coach ever. I mean, from Adolph Rupp on, I would say, with the exception, except for Eddie Sutton and Billy Gillispie, they've won a national championship. You're going to win a national championship if you put in, and Eddie Sutton was really, really close in 86, lost to Dale Brown in LSU in the regional finals that year, or he would have gone to Dallas with a really good chance to win it that year. So you got Mark Pope's going to have more than a fighting chance at Kentucky, and they love him now, and he's part of yesteryear, and nobody loves yesteryear and the Fiddling Five and the blue team and the white team like they do in the Big Blue Nation.
That's right.
I thought it screamed that. I thought their whole demonstration screamed, "We used to be good."
Well, I mean, certainly Mark Pope with his entrance of getting the band back together and bringing back that national championship team. They all get off the bus, and he's carrying the national championship trophy. I mean, certainly a lot of history.
Didn't we celebrate them then?
Yeah, and again in 2021 or something like that. They had a big remembrance celebration.
1996 national champions. Let's say if you were 10 years old that year, 10 years or older, you remember it fondly, right?
Sure, absolutely.
That means anybody about under 40 doesn't.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's what a lot of the reaction you saw on social media when he first got hired was, who cares?
They don't know Anthony Epps from anything.
Exactly. So, I mean, you gotta prove it.
It screamed to me, we used to be good and we used to matter.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think that entrance was certainly something, and that's really the only part I saw of the introduction. But it was different. You don't really usually see that. Now, I guess it's different because he's a former player, but you don't usually see a coach.
That'll wear off fast.
Oh, yes. Very quickly. But you don't see
We know that here.
Oh, absolutely. But you don't see a coach in his introductory press conference bring in the national championship trophy from way back when he won it. So
they've won it twice since that trophy?
Yeah.
Yeah, 98 and 2012,
Yeah, so, it's interesting. He's got a lot of work to do, though.
And it was also a reaction to that at Fayetteville.
Right.
And the welcome for John Calipari and Kentucky fans and all the Kentucky fans that have lit me up through the years. When I was talking about you signed up for, I don't know the first year I did it. I think it was about year 9. So that would have been spring of 18 or 19, somewhere in there, close enough. And so Cal had been there 8 or 9 years, and I started with, I think you signed up for more than 1 in 8 years, 1 in 9 years, 1 in 10 years, 1 in 11 years, 1 in 12, 13, 14, all the way to 15.
Sure.
I guarantee you thought you were getting more than that out of him, and lit me up through the years. Now they all agree with me today.
Wow, how the tables have turned.
All the Arkansas fans that hated the sight of John Calipari, especially at Memphis and even at Kentucky. And a friend of mine showed me a text chain that he is on with Razorback buddies of his, and they Final Four bound next year.
Right, of course. Why not? You know.
And now you got news of DJ Wagner in the transfer portal, and all the Razorback fans think they're going to get all those players from that Kentucky had last year.
Yeah.
Do we tell them they didn't win anything with them?
Well, that's a good point.
That's the truth.
But
That's the truth.
no, that was
How do we tell them, Brian?
softly, I guess, gently. I don't know.
Okay, you didn't win anything with them last year at Kentucky. What's he going to win at Arkansas with them?
Well, that's been the interesting thing of since John Calipari's taken the job at Arkansas is every recruit that has decommitted, every player that has entered the transfer portal, you'll see these Arkansas Twitter pages and stuff like that tweet, and it's basically a lock. He's coming to Fayetteville. Get ready. Here's what to expect with X player that played at Kentucky last year. Here's what to expect with X recruit that was committed to Kentucky, and I think they anticipate that they will get most, if not all, of those guys. And I don't know if you should really be selling that or buying into that.
Yeah,
and everyone in the portal world, whether you see that On3 announcement or the team tweet site from whatever school, you fill in the school, little school, big school. That's the difference. That's the difference. It's going to be good next year because we got the power forward from St. Joe.
Bingo. They're all every player's an X factor, and he's going to change everything. But it's a lot different than that, especially when you're having to replace an entire roster like they're doing at Arkansas. It's a lot harder than it looks. I think it looks hard, but I think
it looks a lot.
It's even harder than that. But we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how he builds this roster. I think pretty much everybody out of that recruiting class, number 2 in the country, has decommitted. A lot of the guys have entered the transfer portal. So for both Kentucky and Arkansas, it's going to be a lot of rebuilding this offseason. But it was also a busy weekend for the Memphis Tigers, as last night we got the news Colby Rogers, the shooter from Wichita State, who spent a couple years at several different places, but he entered the transfer portal after this season. Last night he committed to the Tigers after wrapping up an official visit yesterday that ended with a visit to FedEx Forum to see the Grizzlies and the Nuggets game. But another big pickup for Penny Hardaway. I think this is a guy that had in his according to him, when he was talking to Jason Munz, I believe, said Kansas was in his finalists, and Alabama was also another team that he had kind of limited it down to. But he ends up committing to the Tigers, and I think a massive pickup for them.
I think a good pickup. Hope so.
Yeah.
And now with the offensive acquisitions, with at least 2 of the 3 portal players, and maybe even a third one, you think you're getting better there. I think one of the biggest things for Penny Hardaway's team next year is on defense.
Sure.
That they just didn't play a lick of defense last year. In one of those 3 games that the player from Wichita State was involved in, it was as wild a game as you'll see. I mean, didn't stop anybody on either side on defense, and I just wonder if he can play any defense, because we know he didn't play in any particular big games at Wichita this year because they were terrible.
Yeah, no, they weren't very good. But certainly a three-point shooter, I think, can do a lot of different things. You talk about defense, though. Jason Munz reported earlier today, Arturo Dean from Florida International has set up a visit for this weekend, which is huge. He led the country in steals per game last year at Florida International. So, I mean, that's a guy that hopefully you can bring in and give you something defensively. But things are certainly starting to heat up for the Tigers.
Does anything indicate to you in any of these moves that it's positive or negative for David Jones' return?
No, I don't think any of these moves. I don't think they indicate one way or the other. I don't think any of these
can
guys
work just as well with him as without him.
Sure, yeah. But I mean that is the question, because I think you said that last year. Coming into the season of these guys are all going to work together, and you had Jaquan Walton who came in and was a big time scorer for Wichita State, and you kind of thought you knew what you were going to get with David Jones in terms of scoring, and then turns out David Jones became your leading scorer, and Jaquan Walton struggled shooting and didn't really get those opportunities. So, it's going to be interesting, and now you bring in another guy from Wichita State, and then you get the news, Saturday night, Friday night, that Jaquan Walton, who from all indications was out of eligibility, He's now in the transfer portal, so
nobody knows on eligibility.
Don't know how that works, but I guess here we are.
Everybody think they got that COVID year. Turns out you don't.
So.
I mean, this has lasted longer than the pandemic did.
Man,
Yeah, man. When you just look at how many players just have a COVID year, and it's like, dang, they haven't passed. Yeah.
And we also got scheduling news today for the Tigers. And UNLV will be back on the schedule, and the first game will be played at Vegas next year, so that'll be a lot of fun for people to make that trip.
Be careful.
I'm going to bet you that's going to be one of those Saturdays in December.
Sure.
It might even involve some TV, and both places really trying to reestablish their once prominent position in college basketball, and both have been in the wilderness for a while.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. And, we saw some flash from Memphis last year, obviously getting to number 10, and hopefully you have David Jones back and can lead this program. And UNLV was a good team in the Mountain West last year, made it really tough, how dominant that conference was and how they kind of beat up on each other throughout conference slate. UNLV was a team that, outside of the NCAA tournament, but was, beating teams left and right and kind of playing upset a lot of times. So I'm excited about that one. I think that's a really, really good game to get on the schedule. Like you said, you'll go there this coming up season in Las Vegas, and then they'll return the favor the following year. So that'll be a lot of fun. And
the math on that is simple. Go there, win on the road, and then hope they get that Mountain West to feed on itself for them in that conference like it always has. It feels like to me that game, who do you think it's replacing? Because at the end of the Virginia Common deal, at the end of the A&M deal, and at the end of the Vanderbilt deal. Yeah,
I mean, I think you still want to add somebody like VCU, but it could fill that VCU role.
Yeah. And we know we're going to have 3 in Maui, home against Mizzou, feel like home against Ole Miss, on the road at Virginia, on the road at Clemson, on the road at Vegas. So that's 8 games. Jackson State, Alabama State, Austin Peay, or something like that. Bye games, easy wins, tomato cans. I mean, you just know you're going to win those games. That takes you up. That takes you to, that's 11.
Yeah. So.
How many? What do you want? 13 or 15 non-conference? Because we still don't know. Do we know?
We
16
don't.
Or 18?
I don't think we know anything about what's happening with SMU.
So that would be 11.
Yeah.
And last year it was 13 non-18 conference. So that's 11 of a potential 13 or 15. I hope it's 15.
Yeah,
to have more variety in the scheduling.
Sure.
And not have to see these teams from the AAC.
Hey, say it. You don't want to see Rice. I mean, that's the team that you.
And I'm not alone.
I mean, no, not at all.
I mean, we had documented scan count 6,500 average at home. People did not want to go see those games.
No, they absolutely did not. So that'd be great. I mean, if they just say, hey, SMU's out, we're going to go less conference games this year, and you can add more non-conference games, I think that's a win for everybody. I think Penny Hardaway would like that a lot. And, so we'll see. But I do really like what they've got right now on the schedule, what they could potentially add. It's going to be a fun season next year.
I like a lot what they have and want to add a little more. Of course, would love Tennessee or Arkansas or Mississippi State. Of those 3, I think the only one really likely is Mississippi State.
Sure.
If I'm Penny Hardaway, I would do exactly what Rick Pitino's doing to Mark Pope at Kentucky. I would go to social media and badger the ever-living you-know-what out of John Calipari on social media of let's play.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, and I certainly think needs to get it out there publicly and say, hey, John, let's play. We're ready. We want to play Arkansas, and then kind of put the pressure on Cal. And we know Penny Hardaway's been very vocal and very public in the past about wanting to play different teams and wanting to go.
I would even tweet, if you're scared we're going to beat you 2 years in a row, just say so.
I would love that. So I don't know. I think you need to get out there because I would love to get Arkansas on the schedule. And with what you've already got, I don't know if you could get them on the schedule this upcoming season, maybe. But that would certainly add a lot. I would love to see Arkansas on there.
It sure would.
Yeah. So it will be a lot of fun to see what happens with that. But certainly the breaking news today that Memphis will add a home and home with UNLV. It will start this upcoming season on the road in Vegas before UNLV returns the favor next season here in Memphis. Well, let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, we'll talk about the Masters, what happened this weekend, and Scottie Scheffler's impressive victory at Augusta National as he wins his second green jacket.
Do we give John Going credit for getting that pick right?
I don't. No, I think. I mean,
anybody drafting first pick Scottie Scheffler.
Yeah, everyone and their mother took Scottie Scheffler with the first pick. He took him and he wins. I mean,
he gets a big payout. Double money. He's at $8 million already.
Good for him.
But he's picking fourth for a long time the rest of the year.
That's right. So. And Johnny picking first this week, right?
Johnny, pressure on.
Hey, man, this is a very hot seat right here.
It sure
it
is.
John.
I'm feeling it.
right in the middle of it.
That's right. So it was a fun weekend watching the Masters. Both Saturday and Sunday. So we'll talk a lot about that in our next segment. 3:45, we'll get back to Tiger basketball talk with a ton of news over the weekend. And then today we'll also talk about their newest portal pickup in Colby Rogers. 4 o'clock, David Cobb. He'll join us from CBS Sports, talk some college basketball and college football. A ton of spring games over the weekend, so we'll talk a little bit about that, but also the offseason of college basketball as it's transfer portal. Just insane right now, so we'll talk a lot about that at 4 o'clock. 4:30, we'll get some baseball talk. It's Jackie Robinson Day in Major League Baseball, so 42s all over the place, always fun to see. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, DeMichael Cole, the Grizzlies beat writer at the Commercial Appeal. He'll join us to talk Grizz. It was exit interview day down at FedEx Forum, so we got a lot of quotes from a lot of different people. DeMichael was there covering the entire thing, so we'll talk a ton of Grizzlies, but we'll also talk some NBA with him as the play-in tournaments set, the playoffs set, and we'll get play-in started tomorrow night on Tuesday. So we'll talk a lot of NBA with DeMichael Cole. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Factory direct pricing on all swimming pools, spas, and patio furniture. It's patio season. Come by Family Leisure and check out the new 2024 patio furniture sets. Pool season will be here before we know it, so buy now and get in line for your pool installation and get pre-season pricing. Save $1,000 to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Also, special pricing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool tables, and outdoor kitchens. Only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
Produced by Johnny Hill, this is Sports Time. We're with you until 6 o'clock. We want you to be a part of it at 901-360-8255. That's our Sissy's Log Cabin phone line and text line, and also all our guests will appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but stop by the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, the play-ins are set. Well, really, all of the playoff is set, but we'll get the play-in tournament starting tomorrow. Lakers and Pelicans will kick us off tomorrow night at 6:30 on TNT, followed by Warriors and Kings. And how about that? Let's give a round of applause for the NBA to be able to figure out a way where they could avoid Warriors and Lakers.
Yeah, they did.
In the play-ins, in that we kind of thought for a while it was going to be that 9-10 game, win or go home for the Lakers and the Warriors. But no, there's still a chance that both the Lakers and the Warriors could make the regular playoffs. If the Lakers beat the Pelicans last night, the Warriors beat the Kings, and then go on to beat the Pelicans, both of them, the Lakers would be the 7th seed, the Warriors would be the 8 seed, but that does mean a lot of work to do. Right now, the Pelicans, a 1.5-point favorite against the Lakers, and Golden State, a 2.5-point favorite over the Kings. That should be a lot of fun. Wednesday night, we'll have the East, Heat and 76ers. That's going to be a heck of a game, but don't look now. 76ers have won 8 games in a row since Joel Embiid has returned to that roster. We knew what they were when this team was healthy. They were one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. They were 2nd seed, 3rd seed, kind of hanging around there until the Joel Embiid injury, where they kind of just lost everything, fell into the play-ins. But now that they're healthy, I'm really excited to see what the 76ers team can do. And if I'm the Knicks, who secured the 2 seed yesterday with their win over the Bulls and a Bucks loss to the Magic, I do not want to face the 76ers in a first-round matchup. I want everything. I'm cheering for the Heat. I want to see the Heat and force, hopefully, 76ers against the Celtics. And then to finish the night tomorrow night, Hawks and Bulls, both teams under 500 this year, but one of them will live to see another day.
That Friday night at FedEx Forum, with some of the calls made and the timing malfunction.
Oh, man.
I think it was honest mistakes all the way around.
Sure.
Humans will do human things.
Sure.
I make plenty of mistakes myself. But in a league that really has a shadow cast over it by Tim Donahue and is as hip deep in bed with all the gambling sites as any out there, it would make people wonder, wouldn't it?
I mean, it made me wonder. Absolutely.
Are you some UFO conspiracy nut for doing that? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
That Friday night was it wasn't as outlandish as what the league did to the Sacramento Kings in the Western Conference Finals back in the day. That Michael Wilbon, I don't think Michael Wilbon would be out there in the Flat Earth Society as a conspiracy nut, would you?
Absolutely not.
He said it was it was the sorriest thing he's ever witnessed in sport.
Yeah.
That it was just the fix was in for the Lakers to be in the NBA Finals.
Yeah. Hey.
Michael Wilbon.
That's right.
And got to give it to the Lakers, though.
Sure.
They won the in-season tournament. Now they're in the play-in tournament.
Another round of applause.
I wonder if they'll hang a banner. My top story, Scottie Scheffler is the number 1 golfer in the world. 2 green jackets in 3 years. That kind of proves it. It was his to win since March at Augusta, and he did fairly easily. Is he liked? Is he loved? I know he's not disliked. I don't know how you could, but I don't really know if he's liked or loved. He's very bland, but he's on top of the world in golf right now, and he will be here in August. I'm glad he won for that reason, because if Bryson DeChambeau or any of the LIV people win, we know they're not going to be here in August at the FedEx St. Jude Classic, and I want that event to do well, and we know the Masters champion will be here, and hope he wears his green jacket.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day. Welcome to Memphis, Colby Rogers, the Wichita State guard, made it official last night that he was committing to Penny Hardaway and this Tigers team. He visited Memphis over the weekend, had offers from Alabama, Kansas, and Michigan. When talking to Jason Munz, he said that Alabama, Kansas, and Memphis were kind of his 3 finalists going into the weekend, and said that P.J. Haggerty played a big role in him landing with Memphis. Said that he would text him and call him and just say, man, I'd love to play with you. I would love for you to come to Memphis, join me, and we could have a really fun backcourt. And it looks like P.J. Haggerty will get his wish. Rogers broke the Wichita State record for made three-pointers in a season with 99. That also ranked 31st among Division I players with 99 made threes. He shot 40.9% from 3, which ranked 25th in the country for three-point percentage. So this guy is a extremely quality three-point shooter. I mean, he can stroke it. He's got the shot down. Now, the big question, and we were kind of talking about it earlier, will these guys fit with each other? You've got P.J. Haggerty that we know comes in as this elite scorer. Hopefully you have David Jones back in the fold, who was the leading scorer from last year. Now you're adding a sharpshooter from 3 from Wichita State. Will all of these scorers that you're putting together mix together well, or will we see kind of what we saw last year where you try to throw, just all the guys that average 20 points a game, throw them out on the court and see what happens? If they do that, I don't think it will work. But if you can find that good mesh, then I think you should be excited. He's been all over the place. Cal Poly for 2 years, Siena for a year, Wichita State for 2 years, but had to sit out his first year because of the NCAA transfer policy at the time. And now he'll finish his career one last year at the University of Memphis. And I'll say this, I think you read what these guys are saying when it comes to becoming Tigers. I think a lot of credit needs to go to Rick Stansberry. I think he is playing a big-time role in recruiting and getting a lot of these guys on visits to campus. And so certainly Penny Hardaway's doing a big job with it, but also I think when you have Rick Stansberry on the bench, that certainly helps.
Pretty good team, Rick Stansberry, to go out there and work his contacts, and then Penny Hardaway to work the close. My not top story this year was almost as hard to watch over the weekend as it was last year for Tiger Woods. Last year, the weather was so bad and he was so injured. This year on the weekend, though, it wasn't a lot better. 82 on Saturday, 77 yesterday. He made the cut. He has the streak. He came in dead last of the people that played over the weekend. 60th. The red and black didn't have any magic yesterday. He said earlier in the week last week that if everything went right, he could win. Everything went almost wrong. It wasn't close to right. And now what's next? A thorough examination of what lies ahead should be made by him and the people around him, but most particularly him. He's the one that's got to go out there and do it. And he's the one today. Imagine him this week. His recoup, his body, the hot, the cold, the physical therapy, the getting out of bed. Imagine his week this week, because it was a leg that was almost lost. It was a life that was almost lost. He has nothing left to prove. I don't want to see him like this.
Yeah. No, I don't either. It was hard to watch on Saturday. It really was. And then even yesterday, some of those shots he was hitting, just really, really, really tough to watch.
The red-black combo looked sad, didn't it?
It really did. It was just hard to watch all weekend long. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about what happened over the weekend at the Masters and Scottie Scheffler's victory. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time. There's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Gold membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for unlimited range time, free gun rentals with purchase of ammo, and members lounge access. Top Gun, 2770 Witten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always shoot with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better? I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Despite the slowdown over here on 240 East up by Poplar, we've actually been in pretty good shape as far as really bad accidents out here on the major interstate routes. We have watched it get a little bit crowded from time to time on 55 in that construction zone between South Parkway and Macklemore, heading on up into around Crump as traffic picks up 51, making your way up towards the Millington area. A 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. And it was a big weekend down in the state of Georgia because the Masters were off and rolling, and I think most smart people would have bet that Scottie Scheffler would either be at the top or near the top on Thursday when this tournament started. And sure enough, Scottie Scheffler wraps up his second Masters victory in runaway fashion. I mean, down the stretch, his last 3, 4, 5 holes. I mean, it was just, hey, we're out here playing around golf, waiting for you to get done with 18 because there was really nobody around him. Made it look easy, and I think that's what you hoped for from Scottie Scheffler because we know how good he is in all aspects of his game. It's just that last part. Putting can be a big issue for him at times. And yeah, there were a couple of times, even in that last round, where he'd miss a putt here, miss a putt there, but a really solid Sunday for Scottie.
Yeah, he just never would wobble. He wouldn't let anybody really crack the door and never had that occasion to where you thought, okay, here it is. Yeah. It's coming undone a little bit for him, and he wouldn't let anybody get near him. A couple of others played really well. Oberg with an A.
Yeah.
That's quite a story.
Oh, yeah.
And my fear of Bryson DeChambeau, and I can finally stop whining about not taking him because after that 65 on Thursday, the rest of the weekend was my fear. And a lot of it was my fear of him on those greens. It had him talking to himself, and he didn't handle it very well. But the win for Scottie Scheffler was a little emblematic of what I was trying to describe and question. I'm wondering of how would people describe him. We know he's very devout. I respect that. He feels like he knows who he is and what he's about and why he exists. I respect all that.
Absolutely.
Immensely, extraordinary. But he doesn't move any needles like say a Bryson DeChambeau did and would. But what if he just won enough? Now 2 Masters, no other majors, but he'll be in contention for all those. Could he? I'm trying to think of a player that was like that won majors, but the wow factor was just never there. I'm thinking of somebody like Larry Nelson.
Sure.
And I mean, Larry Nelson's own family didn't know he was in majors a lot of weekends.
Well, yeah, that's the thing about Scotty Scheffler is he very much clocks in, does his job, and clocks out. I mean, he's not going to be the guy that shows up. Yeah, he's not the guy that shows up on a Tuesday to a tournament. Is going to make all these headlines in his press conference.
Here's one from another sport. Yvonne Lindell was that kind of tennis player.
Yeah.
It's not that he wouldn't let you love him. It's not that you didn't want to love him. It was just nothing there.
Yeah, man, that's kind of Scotty Scheffler. I mean,
he's a classic lunch pail type of guy, man. Like you say, just clock in, clock out, and like I respect that he's very devout as well.
Very devout.
And his game, man, I think he just let his game just speak for itself, man. And
that might be his work.
Yeah, he just let his game just speak for itself. He don't have to do a lot of talking, and some people just ain't a talker. And some guys are like that. So I respect his game.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other people from around sports, and I mentioned Yvonne Lindell that maybe was like that. Now, John Stockton never won a title with the Utah Jazz, but he was very low key.
Sure.
I say Kawhi Leonard. He's very quiet.
Great one.
He's
great
very
one,
quiet.
That is a great one.
Yeah.
And he's a lunch pail guy, like Brian was saying. Like him and Scotty Scheffler, they're the same type of guy.
Get to the arena.
Yeah, and they're gonna take care of business. Or like Joker's like that. He's a lunch pail type of guy. He's starting to talk a little bit now, but like they're all cut from the same cloth.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't like the word that starts with a B that sounds like boring. I don't like that word, and I'm not saying he's that. Yesterday just never. It never grabbed you. It was on. It was good. Yeah. I enjoyed it. Loved the drone shots. Fans are now seeing parts of Augusta National that used to be a mystery to most people. You're really getting to enjoy it, but it didn't have a whole lot of sizzle. Now, the steak was pretty good.
Sure. No, absolutely. When I think,
it's UConn.
Yeah.
We had the same thing last Monday night.
Sure.
We did.
Yeah, it's kind of run away with it. No big story.
I need a little sizzle, Johnny. I'm sorry.
That's right.
Me too.
Well, it's an interesting point you bring up because I know like Johnny Radio this morning when he got here and I'm not sharing any of his business that people don't know. I mean, he came on today and said, I didn't watch much of the Masters this weekend, but here's what I know about what happened. When he was walking in to come on air, he was talking to Dave Woloshyn. They were, switching out. And he said, it just didn't seem like there was as much talk, as much excitement.
I do agree.
As much,
coverage.
That's the tour this year.
Yeah. Of the Masters yesterday. He goes, but why was that? And they kind of talked. And then John said, well, we saw Tiger do this, and there was so much more. People were, engaged and all this stuff. And Dave said, well, because everyone loved Tiger, and everyone loved watching him run away with it on a Sunday. And so Scotty Scheffler's just not there yet. I mean, he could eventually get there, and maybe this helps, and maybe, I don't know. But you're right. It's hard for someone to get that type of attention when they just kind of get there, go through the motions of their press conferences, play golf, and there's nothing, on-course
and kick everybody's rear end.
Yeah, and just,
and he taking names too, man. He taking names as he doing it.
It's UConn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
And it was fun to watch. Now, I remember this would be interesting to talk about with John going on Wednesday. In 2021 for the Ryder Cup team, I won't say his being named as a captain's pick was controversial. But there were people at that time about Scotty Scheffler. What's he won? Well, that time, nothing, major-wise, and I don't think that much even week in, week out, tournament-wise. He's justified that selection and then some. And now the bar will get raised of, okay, we know you can do it in April at Augusta National. Can you do it in May at Valhalla in Louisville at the PGA? Can you do it at Pinehurst in June? Can you do it at an Open Championship this year at Troon? That's where the next three majors are going to be. I don't know that he's got to win one of those, but at some point that story's really going to start building like it's built for Rory McIlroy through all these swings and misses at Augusta National. I don't know that he's ever going to close the career slam, and it looks like it's getting further away every year.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's hard because that's the story every year when we get to the Masters is, all right, is Rory going to do it? This is the year. And Brett, you even brought it up off air on Wednesday after our picks. You were kind of going through who everybody picked, and you said, wow, nobody picked Rory. And
we were right not to.
Yeah, well, and it feels like we're getting to that point of you haven't done it yet. When are you ever going to do it? I mean, the time keeps on ticking, and it seems less and less likely year after year that he's going to be able to do it.
One of the oldest, truest golf sayings is horses for courses.
Sure.
Well, I don't know what the anti of that would be, but that would be Rory there.
Yeah.
And now for him, after 2 years ago, when he blew it at the Open Championship and left it for Cameron Smith to win, I don't know where he's the horse for that course anywhere, because all of a sudden Rory and a little bit Jordan Spieth and a little bit Justin Thomas, they're becoming the thing of the past.
Yeah.
It can happen fast, can't it?
Yeah. I mean, and Jordan Spieth, I mean, we talked a lot on Friday about kind of just a really, just a wild weekend. Not even a weekend. First 2 days, Thursday and Friday.
That's it.
Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas, not much better at 7 over. Those two really good friends. And you're right. I mean, it just seems like at one point those three guys were the PGA Tour. They were golf, it felt like. And especially kind of these young guys that are going to come and dominate the sport for years and, kind of fading.
You think Tiger plays again this year?
Wow, that's a good question. I mean, he's so confident when he gets up there and talks to the media about wanting to play, and he kind of has this, set schedule in his mind of now that we've gotten to April.
He's got that schedule in his mind of when he was 35.
Exactly.
And that has changed.
It's changed. And what he says, and we've talked about it before, he would like to play every major, and they're, spaced out about a month between each other, and I don't see it.
I don't either.
I think he tries, but
here's something it's a little bit like the off season in the portal, and everybody's going to be so much better next year.
Yeah.
At some point, that's got to go through one ear and out the other. Here's one with me. I don't need to hear any next March about the 15th or 16th, and you go to Twitter and you see that his plane has landed there, and you hear unnamed sources saying he shot 66 on his own ball from the tournament.
You should have been there.
From the tournament, man. That Tuesday in March, and are playing a practice round with Freddie.
That's right.
The Saturday, which would have been 2 Saturdays ago. Oh man, we were out here, and he hit. If it had been tournament competition, he'd been right. That's all a bunch of hogwash.
A tradition unlike any other. Every year when we come around, if you could have only been there to see how he was driving the ball.
And no friend is gonna say, no. Yeah, I played with him here in March, and frankly, he shouldn't be playing this week. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to do that.
No. Especially with Tiger Woods. I mean, he is.
I think he's earned a lot of status.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. He's earned.
If he had new in that gas.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to lie about or not lie, but if you're going to say something like that may or may not be true, Tiger Woods is the person you're going to say it about.
That Augusta member that has Tiger and Charlie there Thanksgiving weekend, they're not going to go out there and say, "Oh man, he shot 85."
Oh man, it was one of the worst rounds of golf I've ever seen.
There's no way, and you shouldn't. What would it it accomplish?
Nothing. So, I mean, I would love to see Tiger again. I don't know how realistic that is after what we saw in the weekend. Now, he did, we talked about Friday. He did make the cut.
Yeah, he did. He did.
He has that record
He did
now,
do
which
that.
is
He's got
really,
that
really
record.
cool.
And in the accomplishments room of Tiger Woods, where does that banner hang?
I mean, that's pretty high. I mean, that's a good banner to hang. Most made cuts. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at.
15 majors is way up there.
That's pretty. Hey,
that's legendary.
Legendary.
Yeah,
that's legendary, Brett.
High. Maybe
it's up there though, ain't it though, Brian?
Yeah, 5th, maybe 6th. I don't know.
7th.
Give me a paper with all of them. I'll rank them.
His accolades are just go down.
Here's one. It just feels like it's a certainty. He's going to be Ryder Cup captain in 2025. I'm all for it. Tiger Woods only played on one winning U.S. Ryder Cup team, and that was the freak show win at Brookline in '99.
That's really hard to believe. But hey, maybe things change with him as captain. I don't know. But it was cool to see him on Sunday with the lone amateur and the kid. He's a grad student at Ohio State, and they were.
You had to get out there early. They were due busting.
Yes, they were out there very early, but I mean, just kind of hanging out. I mean, both knew they were out of it. Tiger certainly knew he was done, so you're just kind of hanging out with the kid. And
Chuck Woods with him.
That's right. So that was kind of fun. And all of the kind of sadness of watching Tiger over the weekend, that was something kind of fun on Sunday. Let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we talked a little bit about it to start the show, but the Tigers, very active over the weekend, picked up another portal edition. We'll talk about it next on Sports Time.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey, Mid-South! Discover your new ride at Gossett Kia on the Pike. You want it? We Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. 41 MPG Highway, $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about 2023 Kia EV6 Wind, rear-wheel drive, $249 a month. Plus, Gossett Kia's got 2024 Telluride LX front-wheel drive, $369 a month. Both $39.99 due at signing, all 24-month lease. And you'll always find peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So stop what you're doing and call Bobby J, because he's ready to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition P, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte RE756 120, MSRP 22,320, EV6 P56 03393, MSRP 50,200, Telluride RG5 1041, MSRP 37,935, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/2024, dealer stock only.
Challenging, purposeful, rewarding.
I was the only female in my class, so I call them my brothers to this day because they supported me, they helped me. Like, I couldn't do pull-ups. I went to the gym, we worked out together, so it was fun.
We have the unique opportunity as deputies of interacting with people at some of the worst and sometimes most transitional or pivotal moments of their lives.
Come join our team, become a patrol deputy with the Shelby County Sheriff's Office.
As the seasons change, so does the need for reliable home comfort. It's time to turn to the experts with Choates, where your family's comfort is our top priority. Right now, Choates is making it easier than ever to upgrade your home's climate control with our exceptional Carrier systems. There's never been a better time to enhance your comfort. Select from incredibly low monthly payments, 36 months no interest financing, or choose our $1,650 Cool Cash rebate instead and lower the upfront cost on select Carrier systems. It's not just savings, it's cool cash in your pocket. Low monthly payments, no interest financing, or cool cash rebates? Whatever you choose, you're choosing quality, reliability, and the trusted service of Choates. Call us today at 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com to learn more about these incredible savings. But hurry, these deals are as fleeting as a cool breeze on a hot day. Choates, let our family serve your family.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better. I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. and it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Maybe I should have held off on this until we got to big number of the day, but we were talking about Tigers and their portal additions. Another pickup over the weekend, Colby Rogers committed to the Tigers last night. And still, we've talked about 3 transfer portal additions for the Tigers, 1 recruit coming in the class of 2024. With all of that, Tigers still have 7 scholarships available that they need to fill for next season, which is just unbelievable. I understand that's kind of the day and age we're living in now with the transfer portal.
Is it the most of anyone out there?
I don't think so, but it's certainly a lot. I mean, you're not going to find many teams in the country, especially teams that have not had a coaching change, with this many holes in their eye. I mean, I can't think any team that has their head coach back from last year's team that has this many scholarship openings. It's a ton.
I think I like what's been done, and I want to be optimistic, especially if you throw David Jones in there with Jourdain.
Sure.
That's a pretty good baseline, pretty good starting point. Mm-hmm. We know Haggerty and the Wichita State transfer. We know what they can do in this league. But we also know at both places their team didn't do much. Mm-hmm. They did individually.
Sure. Yeah.
PJ Haggerty racked up some points. Mm-hmm. The Wichita State player shooting 40 from 3, okay. Mm-hmm. But what about their teams?
Yeah. No, it's a good point. I mean,
this is the league they're playing in.
That's right. And so, I mean, it's interesting, and you kind of talk about how are these guys going to mesh with each other. You know, it feels like you can do this with any team. You can do this with any player you get out of the transfer portal of, oh, man, look at all these guys, and, you know, this team's going to be so good, and yada, yada, yada. And sometimes it comes together, and it's a good team, and then sometimes they come together and they're not a very good team. Or sometimes you'll get what you had with the Tigers last year where you thought they were a really good team, and then it turned out they were not a very good team.
Last year, it broke really well non-conference.
Yeah.
What if this year settled in, out of 13 games, settled into a 8-5?
Yeah, and that's kind of what we thought they would be last year. But
no, I was above that.
Sure,
not a whole lot, but I was 9-4.
Right,
I was 9-4. Thank you.
But around there, I think a lot of people thought there were going to be much more losses than there was, this year, because they really dominated non-conference, and so I think. It's you gotta make the most of conference. You're gonna go in and be one of the top teams in the conference, and you've got to be able to feast on these teams. You cannot have what the Tigers had last year in conference play of
you have to beat Ole Miss and Missouri at home.
You got to.
You got to.
But who knows? But I mean, I think all of it settles down to conference play, and so if they go out there and are fine in non-conference. You've just got to be better. Nobody thought they would do what they did in conference play last year. Nobody would have dreamed of losing at home to Rice.
I know I didn't expect that.
No.
Go 11-2, 9, and get to number 10, and everybody over the moon, and then it collapsed.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can't have that. It's just inexcusable, and you can't
How
have
sustainable year in, year out for everybody out there it is this. I'm
think
for player liberation and freedom, and we're getting ready to see it in college football. Mm-hmm. It's going to be everybody take care of themselves. over the next 2 weeks. And I don't care where you are, and I don't care what team you are, you're going to have some disappointment.
Sure.
There's going to be somebody. You better be glad you didn't buy a jersey for them, because they portaled in December, and they're portaling out in April.
Yeah. Well, what's the Proctor, the offensive lineman for Alabama, that portaled out, went to Iowa, then entered the portal again.
Back at Bama.
And was at A-Day on Saturday at Alabama. So, I mean,
be glad you didn't buy Iowa jersey.
Honestly. But, yeah, I don't think it's very sustainable at all. I mean, you look at some of the teams that have had a lot of success the last couple of years, and it seems like they have a mixture of transfer portal guys and, guys that they've recruited in from high school and have learned and developed. And, I just don't know how sustainable it is when you're going year in and year out replacing 9, 10, 11 guys.
Brian, there's just, the staff, and Johnny, you know it, the staffs are just so big now. There's director of this and player personnel that.
You ain't lying.
There are people running around. It's just but there's one really new, fresh face at Ole Miss that's straight from the factory at Texas. Mm-hmm. And he told me if Texas doesn't win it next year, then he'll be stunned.
Wow.
He said you can't imagine how great that roster is.
Interesting.
And he's fresh from there.
Interesting. So, seems like, with especially the money that Texas has,
that oil.
able to bring in some good players. And
I'm buying $4 gasoline for a reason, Johnny.
That's right. Got to be able to pay
that all away.
Longhorns, I guess.
Uncle Jed didn't get all the oil.
No, he didn't. So we'll see. But transfer portal, it's wild, and I mentioned it earlier, but Tigers had a couple other visitors. They'll have more visitors, and so it's getting really, really busy for Penny Hardaway and that staff. Let's go ahead and wrap up this first hour and get to a break. And when we come back, talk a little more college basketball, some college football with David Cobb from CBS Sports.
I think a lot about golf, and when I think golf, I think Miramichi. Did you know Miramichi Golf Course offers membership? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their memberships run for $300 a month plus tax, and that includes unlimited rounds and range balls, no extra cart fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. Oh, by the way, there's no initiation fee. Miramichi green fees, they'll allow you to choose the right rate at the right time on the right day for your needs. If morning tee times are more important, you can book up to 14 days ahead of time to reserve your spot. If rate is more important to you, there are discounted evening rates available that you can choose from. You'll find the lowest rates on Tuesday through Thursday afternoons. Sometimes you just need to escape the hustle and bustle of life. Miramichi Golf Course provides just the right place to solve that need. The name Miramichi means place of happy retreat. When you need a quiet, peaceful round of golf, please make your way to Miramichi.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte RE756 120, MSRP 22,320, EV6 P56 03393, MSRP 50,200, Telluride RG5 1041, MSRP 37,935, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details, offer valid through 4/30/2024, dealer stock only. Hey, Jeff Allen, what's happening over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah Wonderland?
Randy, we are making magic on Mount Moriah. 2024 Kia Forte LXS, 41 MPG Highway, $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month, and a 2024 Telluride LX front-wheel drive, $369. Both $39.99 due at signing, all 24-month lease.
And 0% for 48 months on 2024 EV9, and always get peace of mind with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
So get over there, Gossett Kia South, 2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with two of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
It's time to get to Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, where we're celebrating the 75th anniversary sales event, and it's time you got your new V-Dub on. Get ready to take your pick of 2024 Taos S, or a 2024 Tiguan S, or a 2024 Jetta Sport. Your choice, $279.99 a month. Pick the right Volkswagen for you at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown. Plus 1.9 for 60 months on all Atlas and Atlas Sports. Or get 2024 Atlas Cross Sport SE for $33,988. So get it done and be ready to ride at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road. Online, GossettVWG.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month lease, 7,500 miles per year. Taos RMO 51756, MSRP 26063. Tiguan RM 103910, MSRP 31363. Jetta RMO 48802, MSRP 25506. Cross Sport RC 236449, MSRP 38981. Includes $3,000 rebate. Cannot be combined with special APR. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Replace your worn-out brakes and save now on Brake Best Select. Brake Best Select Pro are import direct brake pads and rotors only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Already a little bit of a slowdown waiting for you on 240 East at Poplar, just like it has been the last few weeks. Now, it's picked up with more volume coming down 240 East from Mill Branch out to 385 as you get on to Bill Morris Parkway. Clear shot right now as you head on out to Collierville. Looks good also over here on 40 eastbound. We checked it there from, let's say, Warford all the way over to White Station. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Joining Brian and Brett now on Sports Time is National College Football writer for CBS Sports, Memphis native and Tennessee grad, who you can find on Twitter X at David W. Cobb. It's David Cobb.
David Cobb joining us now, talk some college basketball and some college football as always. From CBS Sports, joining us now on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. David, thanks so much for joining us. I want to start with the Tigers. Last week we talked about guys from the transfer portal that had committed to the Tigers. Talking about it again, Colby Rogers committed last night to Penny Hardaway and the Memphis Tigers. He said to Jason Munns that Kansas was also a team that was really in on him, Alabama, but Chris Youngblood had committed to Alabama earlier that day. I don't know if there was a direct correlation there, but he ultimately lands with the Tigers. What should Memphis fans expect with Colby Rogers joining this team, and what do you make of this pickup for Penny Hardaway?
Yeah, I think he's a good pickup because he's proven at a couple of schools now that he can shoot three-pointers at a pretty high clip with a pretty high volume. So when you see a guy who's attempted 7 three-pointers a game and made 40% of those, that's pretty rare. So to get somebody like that, I think it fits. I think it makes sense. If you think about P.J. Hackerty being a ball-dominant point guard who's going to get into the lane a lot and draw the defense and collapse the defense, then you're going to need a guy who you can kick it out to who can make three-pointers. And you know, that's something that Colby has shown that he can do. So I think it's a sensible addition. I think it adds a little bit of a, okay, I can see this now with the Memphis lineup. So they got a long way to go still with filling out the puzzle pieces there, but they're off to a good start. It's a tough way to build a roster going almost exclusively portal. There's obviously a lot of drawbacks to that, but I mean, so far so good. I think all of the additions they've made to this point make a lot of sense, and you can see them, playing together in a coherent way.
The portal really is. It really makes everybody dream, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's actually the beauty of it is this time of year, you can rebuild your entire program through the transfer portal. And you can also lose your entire program to the transfer portal. So there's a downside to it for sure. But, yeah, it's interesting. It's kept college basketball in the news cycle for longer than it used to be. Because it used to be this time of year, we would have already been talking about a spring football right now. But, for me, one of my big things is ranking the transfer portal players in college basketball. I've got a big update I got to do on that tonight. A lot of activity over the weekend and today across the country with some big names. And so it's interesting. I like that college basketball, a lot of the portal activity comes after the season, whereas with college football, it's a lot of it is kind of during bowl season and leading up to the college football playoff and everything. And we get some of it in college basketball before the NCAA tournament ends, but for the big-name players and the big-name teams that are playing deep into the postseason, they're not going to be making their final additions until well after the season ends. So, yeah, it's a time of year where there's a lot of hope for teams that are hoping to go out and get that guy. Maybe this is this year's Dalton Connect, or maybe this is the guy that's going to be our championship piece. Yeah, or Mark Sears, great example, going from Ohio to Alabama, and so. A lot of guys like that out there who Tennessee just got one. Darlin Stone Dubar, what a name, transferring from Hofstra. So, that's one of those guys. It's like, all right, we'll see. You never know if those mid-major guys are going to hit. But, man, it's fun to look at their stats and sort of imagine what it could be like.
Because nobody thought somebody from northern Colorado was going to do what he did.
I didn't. I had him in the 40s of my rankings. And then he turned out to be the best transfer in the country, bar none. Second best player in the country, period, behind Zach Edey. So, it's incredible. And the staffs that really figure out how to scout in the portal are the ones who are going to have the most success. So it's not so much about just being cool in recruiting anymore and like, wow, this guy wears Air Jordans and he sent some players on to the NBA. Like, the days of that being the way that you land talent are kind of over. Now it's about how much can you pay me? And then from the coach's standpoint, it's like, okay, how does this guy really fit with what we do? And can you identify that guy who can transfer up from the MAC or from the Big Sky and really be a big-time player in a bigger conference?
Brett and I were talking about this earlier. When you look at a team like Memphis, who is replacing so many guys. I mean, I keep a close eye on this roster and who they're bringing in, stuff like that. And it still surprises me. Last night after Colby Rogers commits and you see that there's still 7 open scholarships available right now and could be another one if David Jones decides not to come back next year. When you see teams like this where year after year it feels like they are turning over their entire roster, how sustainable is that when you're trying to compete at a high level, trying to make tournament runs? Is that something that can have success there, or do you need to kind of have a mix of recruiting and transfer portals and guys that have been there for 2 or 3 years?
I really don't think it's very sustainable going almost exclusively portal or going 90% portal.
Yeah.
Now, there can be exceptions to that. If you look at like Utah State this past season, year one out there under a new coach and Danny Sprinkle, who has already left to go to Washington. But in his first year and only year at Utah State, he went almost exclusively portal out of necessity. But there was a caveat there. It was that a lot of the players who he brought with him, or at least a handful of them, had played with him at Montana State the year before. So they knew his system. He knew them. So that gave them a nucleus and sort of a place to start. I'm really curious, not only at Memphis, but I think also at Arkansas in particular this year, how that's going to work. And Kentucky to a certain extent. I think Kentucky's going to end up having a couple of guys back who were on last year's team, and Kentucky's going to get some guys that played for Mark Pope last year at BYU. But Arkansas, I think, is going to be almost exclusively new players, and very few of whom have played for John Calipari, if any, who have played for John Calipari before. So, to me, Arkansas and Memphis are both very interesting because they're both capable of landing like great talent. We're seeing Memphis get good players out of the portal. I have no doubt John Calipari is going to put together a talented roster, but it's really like hit or miss how it's all gonna work out and shape up, and does the chemistry work out? Do the pieces fit together? And can the coaches kind of mold their scheme to fit the players that they end up with? That's the ultimate test of a good coach. Is can you build a winning team out of just a collection of talent? Can you press those right buttons?
David, I would have to go back and look, but I would say other than his first and maybe his second roster at Memphis, because somewhere in there was the addition of DeJuan Wagner, dad of DJ Wagner, son of Milt Wagner. Somewhere in that was Chris Massey and some others. I wonder when the last time college basketball talkers, aficionados, writers, broadcasters, all of it, think pieces, everything around college basketball would have deemed a John Calipari roster not talented.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's never a lack of talent with a John Calipari coach team, and that goes back multiple jobs. So, yeah, it used to be like you could just go out and build the most talented roster, and the talent would always win out. And that just isn't the way it works anymore, because to do that, you got to go so heavy on freshmen. And going so heavy on freshmen just doesn't work anymore. It's not as
going to Peach Jam doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. And so I thought it was interesting, the initial sort of freak out from the Kentucky fans over Mark Pope was like, well, he can't recruit. And it's like, well, one, he was at BYU. When has BYU ever landed top 50 prospects? When has BYU ever been in the mix for a 5-star player? So maybe he can recruit, and he was just at a place where you really can't. And also, it doesn't matter if he can't recruit. Like, if Mark Pope just gets in the living room with the 5-star prospects and just stutters and just can't close the deal and mom hates him, you know what? It really doesn't matter if he can't recruit at all, because he can go work the portal and Kentucky can pay. And that's what guys want to know is, can you pay me? And Kentucky can pay you. So, yeah, I think he's a good coach. He's a good X's and O's coach. Nowadays, and this is where John Calipari has struggled, it's not so much about can you build a super talented roster. It's do you know what to do with it once you get it? And to a certain extent, I would also put Penny Hardaway in that same category. We know you can build a talented roster, but that's not all that this is about anymore. You have to know what to do with that talent once you get it there. And that's the biggest difference in coaching in college basketball now than 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah. I just saw a report a couple minutes ago. Tyrese Hunter, the guard from Texas, has entered the transfer portal. Where about would you have him ranked in your transfer portal rankings?
Yeah, you're talking about Tyrese Hunter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He would be fringe. He would be fringe. He was really good at Iowa State as a freshman, and then went to Texas, and it didn't quite click like we assumed it would. I'm pretty sure 2 years ago when he transferred from Iowa State to Texas, I had him in the top 10 because I think he was the Big 12 Freshman of the Year. He would be in the fringe of like my top 60. So I'll have to kind of crunch the numbers a little bit to see if he's going to be in that mix. Do you have any inclination that maybe Memphis is going to be in on him, or any read on that?
I was just curious. I know I was just seeing reports that he just jumped in, so I don't know if Memphis will have anything on him or not, but I think certainly an interesting player.
Yeah, it is. Texas is going through a lot of transition right now.
Yeah.
I saw Dylan Mitchell is going to the portal, and he's a former 5-star prospect.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're picking up an former Indiana State guard, who I guess getting him is why Tyrese Hunter is going to transfer, because he's a true point guard who's going to have the ball in his hands a lot there. So curious to see. This is a big offseason for Rodney Terry. He didn't get like a long-term, high-dollar contract. He got the, hey, we're promoting you and we're going to give you a shot, but if it doesn't work out, we're not going to be on the hook for a huge buyout. So these are big moves right now for Texas, and losing Tyrese Hunter, I certainly wouldn't think that's a positive for him.
Yeah, it was very heat of the moment hire and addition to his contract for him. I think if he struggles next year, they would move on. David, how do we get John Calipari? He's convinced himself of this, of Man, my 19-year-olds go out in the NCAA tournament, and they lose to a group of 26-year-olds. The game has really changed. First of all, at tip time in that game against Oakland, he had 2 players playing that night that were still 19 years old. At tip time that night, he keeps referring to Jack Golke for Oakland as a 26-year-old. Golke turned 24 last December of 23. That means he played in that game as a 24-year-old. He will turn 25 this December. How do we get Cal to quit calling him 26 and that whole team 26?
It's like he heard the DeAndre Williams story, and now he's convinced that every 5th and 6th year senior is 26. He's embellishing, exaggerating, and making excuses, and I think that's kind of why Kentucky fans were sick of him, because that's kind of what he does. That's who he is.
I think we might have lost David there for a second. See, yeah, Johnny, see if you can get him back.
We'll get him back. Yeah, and he has continued that sermonette of him being 26, and he's not 26 yet, and the rest of his teammates sure weren't.
No, not at all. And I mean, that's just, we talk about some of the excuses, and
always an excuse.
Yeah, always an excuse, and that was certainly
Refs
the one
cheated him here in 2017.
Yep.
He sicked his fans on them.
That's right. So that's the one he latched
whole
on
collapse
to.
for Memphis. I say Cal should have won one at UMass with Marcus Camby.
Yeah, no, I definitely should have.
And he still has one.
That's right. So that's the one he latched on to, and it looks like he's going to continue to roll with it.
We got David back.
Yeah, I think we got David back.
We do. Hey, David, I'm sorry we lost you. You were talking about Cal and his Herculean exaggerating.
Yeah, no, sorry, I dropped you there. I don't know how long the leash is going to be with the Arkansas fans, or how long the honeymoon phase will last. But boy, it's going to be a lot of fun when that SEC schedule comes out, and I hope Arkansas is going to Rupp Arena this year. You got to have it. We got to have it.
And Kentucky to Fayetteville.
Oh, without
now
a
they
doubt.
did it last year. It's rare when you go home and home 2 years in a row with the old scheduling, but old scheduling doesn't matter anymore because here comes Texas and OU. Another one I want. I can't wait till Ole Miss and Arkansas plays next year, because Arkansas has convinced themselves now that there was some last second hitch in the contract with a non-compete involved for Chris Beard. They just can't accept they were flatly turned down.
Yeah, well, that's a stunner to me. The fact that, I think a lot of us believe that Chris Beard would take that Arkansas job, no questions asked, and the fact that it didn't work out, yeah, that's a stunner. Great for Ole Miss, great news for the Rebels, and but Arkansas, isn't it weird that they went from Beard to Jerome Tang and then ended up with John Calipari? And
never happened, David. Hunter Yurchek, Cassurtis, he only offered the job to one person.
It's wild that athletic directors still get out there and say
Why do they have to do it, David? Why do they have to embarrass themselves with it?
I don't know. And of course, Mitch Barnhart would, he could probably talk you into believing that Mark Pope was,
Please.
just the first choice all along and all this. And, I am curious, it's interesting how quickly the Kentucky fans got on board with the Mark Pope hire. And
They had to after the Arkansas pep rally. They had to match that. And I said earlier that all that at Rupp yesterday, or was it yesterday or Saturday? What day was their pep rally?
Yesterday. Yeah, yesterday.
I said it screamed to me of we used to matter.
Yeah, well, it did, because the way they got off the bus, the 96 national champions, celebrating those guys, the way they did. It was a throwback, sort of nostalgic party, and I think there might be a little bit of a false hope right now about Reed Shepherd and maybe getting him back, and I guess we'll see on that. But yeah, it's good that they're behind him, because he's going to need the support. He's going to need the boosters in his corner for NIL. And it could work out. I could see Mark Pope working out, because they're paying him $3 million a year less than John Calipari was making. So you can sort of redirect that money towards NIL resources. And they didn't have to pay the buyout to fire Calipari since he left. They didn't have to pay an $18 million buyout like they would have if they wanted to hire a Nate Oates. So financially, Kentucky's going to be in a pretty good position here. now that they've got the fans behind the hire as well, he should be pretty well equipped to go out and buy some good players.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. We're talking to David Cobb. He joins us from CBS Sports every single Monday. I know we've talked a lot of basketball, but we had a handful of spring games over the weekend for college football. Brett Norsworthy was at one of them down in Oxford. That was a little different from the regular spring games.
It wasn't football.
Were you able to catch any of what Ole Miss did over the weekend with their Grove games?
No, I was out on spring football this week, and I have no regrets really at all.
You shouldn't.
If there was from what I understand, there really wasn't a game at Ole Miss, and I don't think that's unique to Ole Miss. I think a lot of places around the country are definitely not doing two full teams against each other, and at best, it's sort of like an offense versus defense format.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's everybody not wanting to have anybody hurt, and it's also for Lane Kiffin, it's a really dull, dreaded day at every place, and he was trying to make it fun and be creative and involve the students, and they certainly enjoyed it. It was the biggest crowd at an Ole Miss spring game that I can ever remember. Now, I didn't go to this one, but many said it was the biggest crowd at an Ole Miss game since the year that Eli Manning was coming back for his senior year, and that night they were having a big concert, and I can't remember who was playing, but that it really drove the crowd that year. So it was well attended. Nothing like at Ohio State, nothing like at Alabama, though, the crowds.
Well, I did see where Ole Miss was allowing the students to bring in coolers, and they didn't care what was in the coolers. So
no, 21 and up if you were legal.
Yeah, right. So I mean, I'm just saying that certainly helps with turnout.
You know, there's never been underage drinking at a college campus.
That's right.
We can't have that.
No, absolutely not. I would never. I mean, the Grove is never.
Never.
But,
that's why we have red Solo cups for a reason.
Yeah, if you want people in the stands for the spring games, though, that's a pretty good strategy.
Yeah, that or pay them, because I don't know if any spring game has ever been epic, but everybody's trying to find a way to engage their fans. Now, it always helps when it falls on a baseball weekend, and it also fell on the big one playing Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually watched more of the Egg Bowl baseball series than I did college football spring games over the weekend.
Dave, don't you think a lot of these places too are very scared of posting depth charts?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, the depth charts are quickly becoming a relic, a thing of the past. Because if you do it now, like a player pulls up the depth chart and they see that they're in second, third. Yeah, they're gone. So you don't want to lose 25 scholarship players this time of year and then have to go portal hunting. I mean, honestly, these staff, these coaches, they want to get through spring practice and then actually have a few weeks to relax, chill out, maybe at some point go on a vacation. Like, these are human beings with lives, and they don't want to spend their entire lives scouring the transfer portal and recruiting their own rosters and, all of that stuff. And I know nobody feels sorry for coaches who make millions of dollars, and I get that, but, they want to have some sort of work-life balance like we all do. And when you're having to live your life in the transfer portal and recruiting your own guys, you don't really get that. So I think that's kind of the world we're in, is just trying to do everything you can to keep your roster together.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see how some of these other spring games go, and then I guess what happens. A lot of talk right now with the transfer portal for basketball, but I guess the football transfer portal about to heat up with spring practices being over.
David, have you done a way too early playoff look or anything like that for next year?
Yeah, we did actually. We did it a week or two ago, and I'm pretty sure I had Ole Miss in there. Well, so what we did actually, we predicted a Final Four. We did it the week of the Final Four in basketball, so we didn't do a full 12-team prediction, but we did a Final Four, and I want to say I had Ole Miss at number 4 in mine, and that's not just the playoff, but the Final Four. But I am really excited about.
Where do I sign for that right now, David? Can I? May I?
Well, no, it's funny. I remember this time last year, you were pretty high on Tennessee and whatnot. You just never know. I mean, That's the fun part about this time of year.
It will be the craziest summer of predictions because, everybody's going to be trying to do a full 12-teamer and get that 5 versus 12, 6 versus 11, et cetera. And we have the 4 teams that will have byes that first weekend, and that will all be conference champions. And here's one that it could be. It could be somebody like Oklahoma State and Mike Gundy, and they play Arkansas week 2. They could beat the Big 12 champ and, at worst, the 4 seed.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams like that who now have a lot of relevance and a lot more to play for in this new world, and I love that. I mean, you talk about Oklahoma State. Somebody else that kind of comes to my mind from that territory is like an NC State.
BYU.
Yeah, BYU. The Big 12 is going to actually be a lot of fun because there's going to be so many teams that have a chance to make that 12-team playoff, and there's going to be so much parity in that conference. So I love that we're going to 12 for college football this year. It gives me a lot more anticipation and like excitement for the season. And when I'm going through and starting to work on preview stuff, it gets me interested in more teams than the normal 8 to 12 who you sort of circle as your playoff contenders, because I think you can rightfully point to 25 or 30 as playoff contenders nowadays.
Crazy. It's going to be so much fun come football season with all these teams that have the hopes of making the playoffs. But David, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next Monday.
All right, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, David. David Cobby joins us every single week from CBS Sports. Talk a lot of college basketball, but slowly but surely getting closer and closer to summertime and the football season. So definitely exciting, and kind of got that feel this weekend with some of those spring games.
Don't you agree that this year the predictions, it's going to be everywhere? I would love to know, hey, just on our station, when we go the 12-team playoff, how many different teams from host and everybody that would be represented?
Oh, man. I mean, that would – let's see.
Hey, just among us 3,
sure.
How many different?
Just amongst us 3, but let's see. So you've got Greg and Eli, Zach, Dave, John, and then us 3. That's 8. So, I mean, amongst all those, yeah, I think you'd have a –
Would it hit 20 different teams? The Big 12 could have 8 different answers.
It really could. I think it could. I mean, it'd be close.
It's a possibility. ACC, strong 4 different answers. Strong. Yeah. Clemson, FSU, the U being back, and as David said, NC State.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's going to be crazy. It's going
to
be
so much fun. Big 10, probably 1 or 2. Yeah. Ohio State, Oregon.
Mm-hmm. But I mean,
SEC, 2 or 3.
Sure.
Georgia, Texas, Bama/LSU.
Sure, absolutely. So, I mean, how much fun is it going to be summertime just talking about all the possibilities of teams?
The non-power, the slot that the Tigers could be in.
Sure.
Just among our guys, you could have 5 different answers for that spot.
Definitely.
That could be Air Force. That could be Fresno State. It could be the Tigers.
Could be.
It could be Tulane.
Maybe we should get that together and just see.
Get everybody's list.
Yeah, get everybody's. I mean, I'm sure. Here's the thing: is we can just wait, and I'm sure every show is going to do that segment at some point of, all right, let's roll out the. What
the
teams
one we go with.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out, and really how it shakes out with a lot of the national college football analysts, because they'll start putting them out when we get closer to the regular season. But let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk some baseball.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11. Here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for a fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your buddy Johnny Radio. I'm here with Mark, the owner of Dyer's, out in Collierville's historic town square, where they've been cooking up them burgers since 1912, the old-fashioned way. Mark, what's going on in life? I see you got your 4 kids with you. What do they love about Dyer's?
Man, they love everything about Dyer's. They love all the great food that we serve, and they really like eating our good food and watching some of their favorite sports.
Braden, what do you like at Dyer's?
I like a bacon burger with fries, a milkshake, and with a Tigers game in the background.
Carter, who's your favorite football team?
The Carolina Panthers, and just with some macaroni with that sounds amazing.
My man Beckham, what's your favorite food over at Dyer's?
We like the double cheeseballs.
Kinley, what is your favorite dish over at Dyer's?
Daddy's cheeseburgers and the Dallas Cowboys game in the background.
Just remember, everybody, bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team out and eat at our place.
So head on over to Dyer's in Collierville's historic town square.
Hey, Jason, my main man, Marshall, what's up over there at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike?
Well, Randy, we know that one size doesn't fit all at Gossett Volkswagen, so we've got a take-your-pick offer that covers all the bases.
Well, everybody I know, including me, loves choices. So, Jason, what do you got?
How about a 2024 Taos S, 2024 Tiguan S, or a 2024 Jetta Sport? Take your pick for $279.99 a month. Plus 1.9 for 60 months on all Atlas and Atlas Cross Sports, or get a brand new 2024 Atlas Cross Sport SE for only $33,988, and no reasonable offer will be refused.
Ask for Jason, the main man, Marshall, at Gossett Volkswagen, 1875 Covington Pike, or online at GossettVWMemphis.com.
That's Gossett Volkswagen on Covington Pike, where we're charging forward and charging less every day.
All 36-month lease, 7,500 miles per year. Taos RMO 51756, MSRP 26063. Tiguan RM 103,910, MSRP 31363. Jetta RMO 48802, MSRP 25506. Cross Sport RC 23649, MSRP 38981. Includes $3,000 rebate. Cannot be combined with special APR. Includes all rebates and incentives. PS 695. Excludes stock final license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does your favorite mixers. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent out to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff, just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. MPD is working a couple of accidents out here. It's busy where you would expect this time of the afternoon around the zoo. Got a little bit crowded earlier. Traffic around Tullahoma, Holmes Road, all crowded right now. 240 East starting to run a little bit slow again over here up by Poplar. It's just that time of the afternoon for that to happen as that traffic increases also to the north on 51 on up into Millington. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, it's Jackie Robinson Day in Major League Baseball, which is always a fun day in the sport, except I hope you know your players for at least your team. But if you're planning on watching a lot of games, I hope you know players at least, because it can get a little difficult with everybody wearing the number 42. But we already have one game in the books today Boston this morning, a 10 a.m. first pitch at home against the Guardians, and they are losers. Guardians win 6-0 earlier today, a game that up until the 7th inning, scoreless, all zeros on the board, and then in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, the Guardians score 2 apiece in each inning, which, Brett, you mentioned this, and here's what I figured. Since you're doing so good on your thing against baseball, trying not to complain, I figured I would bring this up so that I'm really the one complaining about it.
Yes. So then, you're kind of doing it for me where I won't violate it.
And then you can just add to it. So then you're not complaining on baseball. You're just adding.
So you could be inciting me to walk me into it.
He could be, Brett. Think about that.
But Brian's not like that. He's not a devious person.
And seeing as I feel like me and Johnny are kind of the judges for this.
Y'all are.
We can kind of make the rules, I guess.
And I even have to ask sometimes if I were to say in this term, would I be in violation?
And sometimes we tell you can't say that.
Yeah.
We say don't say it because that would be violating baseball. But you mentioned it earlier. We mentioned it off air to each other. We had the 10 a.m. first pitch for Guardians and Red Sox Patriot Day, Boston Marathon going on. A lot going on in Boston. Always a really fun day. But for Jackie Robinson Day, after that, the next game doesn't start till 5:30. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in between that 5:30 and 6 o'clock, before 6 o'clock, and then you have a whole bunch starting at 6 o'clock. Why in the world did we not make today, especially because it's Jackie Robinson Day, and all of these teams, every team's playing because it's Jackie Robinson Day, why did we not have more day games?
And I know the first thing a lot of people would say was, everybody's got to go to work on Monday. I understand that. But for school-age children, especially black youths that are so apart from the game right now, that really they mostly don't and don't want to identify with baseball, why would you not in some of these markets make a real appeal for them to come out to games, to shower them with tickets like in – The Marlins. The Marlins aren't drawing tonight against the Giants any more than they would have at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
No.
The Rays. I mean, if you can't get over that bridge at night, you can't in the daytime.
I guess not. But you're right. I mean, that would be, and it's not like, I mean, I'm just going through. Tomorrow we've got a day game. Wednesday we've got a bunch of day games. Thursday there's only a handful of games, but 3 of them are day games. So I mean,
here's another retort they would give: is that would be back-to-back day games, since Sunday is mostly day games. Well, I mean, back-to-back's going to crush you.
No chance. I mean, I don't think there's very many good arguments for
tonight
it.
On the south side of Chicago. There will not be one more human there that would have been there at a 2:30 game.
No, not at all.
I agree.
Not at all. I mean, you can play that game
2-13, Jazz Sox.
Oh, that's crazy. Hard to believe. But, hey, going tonight and got a guy on the bump tonight making his MLB debut. So that'll be
naturally
fun.
The Dodgers, they're playing tonight. I love. Did you see what your Mariners did?
Maybe. I don't know.
Check out the first pitch time.
Whoa.
It's 8.
It's a 9:42 Eastern.
How about that?
Pitch.
How about that? 8:42 Central. It'll be 6:42 their time. I like that.
Interesting. Throw a 2 on there. Why not?
Shouldn't everybody be going off at something 42 today?
Sure.
Might as well.
That's awesome. I love that.
And I love this day. Oddly enough, Jackie Robinson never played one game in Los Angeles. He had been retired before they made the controversial move to the West Coast.
Yeah, no, that's super. I can't get off the Mariners now. 9:42 Eastern.
That's good, isn't it?
That's a great one, Brett.
Somebody in the marketing department
knew what you were doing.
They did.
What's okay? Central Time. What's 8:40? 8:42. I mean, who cares?
That's right.
What's the difference?
And very few places in baseball you could set the nuclear clocks on baseball. Those umpires would pop out and that first pitch was going to be thrown in 5 minutes.
Yeah, not anymore.
In 300 seconds, it was going to happen. Not anymore. I mean, all the lollygagging around and waiting to get started. I know. I was getting really close.
It is. Hey, Brett.
Hey, Brian, you know me and timing really does.
Hey, Brett. I agree with you though on the timing. Now we got to get this show on the move, man.
Well, time is money.
Sure is.
And we've done everything. Well, I got to be really careful. We've done everything in the world to speed the game up, and sometimes we're a little tardy getting started.
Yeah, we are.
That used to not be the case. Interesting. Umpires, men in blue popped out. First pitch was in 5 minutes.
Ready to go. Over the weekend, it was a interesting series for the Cardinals, to say the least, against the Diamondbacks. But, Brett, you mentioned you have some Cardinals numbers.
I do.
Okay.
Are you ready for this? The Cardinals are 7-9 after 16 games. You know what their record was last year after 16 games?
Oh, jeez. I have no idea.
7 up, 9 down, just like this year.
Really?
They play Oakland tonight, the first of 3. Do you know the Oakland A's, Sacramento A's record?
Yeah.
They have, 6 wins?
7 up, 9 down.
You're kidding.
Same record as the
Yikes.
Birds.
Yikes! I don't love that.
This year, do you know how many caught stealing by the catcher, runners thrown out trying to steal a base, the Cardinals have?
I do not.
This is a testament to just how great Yadier Molina was.
I'm going to say 1?
0.
Okay, I was going to say 0, but I was like, maybe they've gotten lucky and gotten 1.
Which is 1 more than number of home runs Nolan Arenado has.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
And Paul Goldschmidt with 1 as well.
Wow.
2 home runs between Goldschmidt and Arenado.
It's not what we
through
think for.
13 games.
Hard to believe.
16 games. I'm sorry, 16 games.
Hard to believe. Wow. Those are some humbling
Cardinals
numbers.
better or worse than they were last year at this time? Feels about the same, doesn't it?
Yeah. I was going to say that.
Feels about the same.
Here's another number I realized over the weekend. You know how old Kyle Gibson is?
I mean, I know this whole starting rotation is like older than 35. So what, 38, 37?
36.
Holy cow.
Dang.
I mean, you're at the end at that.
Yeah, I mean, this
and
starting
I
rotation.
think we're at the end.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Boy, I've got to be really careful.
Got to be careful. But I think...
Brett, it's hard out here, man.
Johnny, it's tough being a Cardinals.
It's
fan.
hard.
I told you it would be.
Brad, I think we can bend the rules a tad when it comes to the Cardinals, because that's not baseball. That's... that's your team. So
and a reminder, I gave this preseason. The Cardinals in a full 162-game season never had back-to-back last-place finishes.
It's going to be tested.
And you just did. But people always would ask me, what was my favorite Mike Shannon call? And he had so many great ones.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing he would do on the air, and it was usually after calamity. I mean, just, after something royally botched. And you're just like, what? And he would go, and you knew it was disastrous. You'd be driving in the car going, did the stadium collapse? I mean, what just happened? Nuclear warhead just hit the stadium. You knew it was horrible when he did that.
I pulled up the Cardinals page on MLB.com, and I see, completely off subject, but they have the theme tickets for this year, kind of what's coming up for theme tickets. And how about this, towards the end of the month, Battlehawks night, where they're giving away...
That's interesting.
St. Louis Battlehawks hat, so it's a blue hat with the St. Louis Battlehawks logo on the front, but on the side,
what
St.
day?
Louis Cardinals logo. Monday, April 22nd.
Now, I'm going in May, so I won't see it.
No, you won't see that.
For the Red Sox series, I don't know if you have to give away Battlehawk hats, do you?
No, I don't think so. Not how they look.
With all the giveaways, I don't think that is a time you have to do a giveaway, but maybe.
I don't either, but tonight will be fun as Jackie Robinson is properly celebrated and serenaded and remembered around baseball. And when we get to big number, here spoiler alert, it can't be anything else but 42 on this day, can it?
No, it can't be.
I've got that. I'll also have this. The two great locations for the commissary, the new Collierville commissary, Houston Levy and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. You can go to the Collierville commissary. Plenty of room for a big group. Spread out and enjoy all the baseball and all the sports on the TV, these NBA playoffs. And with this great weather, we can get outside on the patio. Memphis-style barbecue and ribs done the slow-cooked Memphis way. If you're craving an easier way to order, here's the number to text right now, 33733. Text that, and you can get your order that way. Start the barbecue fest with all the great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the smoked chicken wings. The barbecue nachos, invented, created in the early 80s by Walker Taylor and his team at the Germantown Commissary. That's where it all started. Then dig into the ribs of the shoulder, chopped or pulled on a plate, on a sandwich, and all the sides that come with it, like the beans, the slaw, deviled eggs, bread as well. You can order it by the pound or a 6-pack or an 8-pack or a 12-pack. Just hope you're not in line behind Joey Chestnut if he's at the commissary, because he's going to eat all the food. That was incredible to watch, Brian.
Sure was. I mean,
I'd never watched it on the 4th of July ever.
Really? So that
Never.
was your first time? I mean, jumped in there and got 20 down.
Came over the top rope
Sure
and
did.
took out everybody. Let him try the Boss Man salad or the chicken plate or the barbecue shrimp, all the great stuff at the commissary. Here's the number, 901-754-5540, or go online at commissarybbq.com. In Collierville and Germantown, the party areas, orders to go, catering, tailgating, anytime, any season. They're ready for graduation parties. People are starting to throw those for the graduates, want something from a great place to cater it. That's where you need to start. You need to start at the commissary, 901-754-5540, or go online to find out more at commissarybbq.com.
Let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous, serving the official barbecue of the Memphis Grizzlies.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's time to get to Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, where we're celebrating the 75th anniversary sales event, and it's time you got your new V-Dub on. Get ready to take your pick of 2024 Taos S, or 2024 Tiguan S, or 2024 Jetta Sport. Your choice, $279.99 a month. Pick the right Volkswagen for you at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown. Plus 1.9 for 60 months on all Atlas and Atlas Sports. Or get 2024 Atlas Cross Sport SE for $33,988. So get it done and be ready to ride at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road. Online, GossettVWG.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36 month lease, 7,500 miles per year. Taos RMO 51756, MSRP 26063. Tiguan RM 103910, MSRP 31363. Jetta RMO 48802, MSRP 25506. Cross Sport RC 23649, MSRP 38981. Includes $3,000 rebate. Cannot be combined with special APR. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax on license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy. Hello, Big Brand.
It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy. The big boy. You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, it was a very eventful weekend in Oxford this past week.
It was.
Obviously, Brett was down there for the Grove games, where 7-on-7 dunk contest. Joey Chestnut out of nowhere.
And I heard Brett. I heard him on the radio.
Yeah, that's right. We had the coverage here on Sports 56, but also
cart pushing contest.
I was worried there, and Brett, I
There's a lot could go wrong there.
I was watching. I watched most all of the Ole Miss spring festivities, and I just want to say, the cart that had Lane Kiffin's daughter and father on it won every time. Not saying there's something to it.
I called foul on one of them. They said it won, and it was clear.
Look, I'm just saying. It seemed like
I think Lane wanted 70-70 at the end.
I think so. But it was fun. It was different. But also the Ole Miss baseball team had a series against Mississippi State, a little Egg Bowl on the diamond. So my big number comes from that series because Ole Miss won the series, a big win that Ole Miss needed. This was shown on the broadcast over the weekend, I guess yesterday, when they completed the series win. 3,262. That is my big number. 3,262. That's the amount of days since the last series win by the Ole Miss Rebels versus Mississippi State.
2015.
Crazy. That is just incredible.
In that time, both have won a national championship.
How about that? I mean, that shocked me when I saw it.
And there were players. I mean, that's a lot of players to come through to not be involved in a series win. Not a sweep, just a series win. That is a great number. Mine, I called it. Mm-hmm. Mine is 42 for Jackie Roosevelt Robinson. Middle name from his parents, Roosevelt, in honor of President Theodore Roosevelt. At that time, he was a football star, a basketball star, and, of course, baseball star, all at UCLA. In college football, he led college football in punt return yardage one year and was on a really good team. He led the old Pacific Athletic Association in scoring in basketball. And 77 years ago today, a legend was born with him breaking the color barrier, Major League Baseball. That really was the first step in the modern sports that we now know and enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just incredible. I mean, one of my favorite days in sports every year, Jackie Robinson Day, when we, just all come together.
Who else in baseball should get that? Roberto Clemente's getting close. To the Universal 21. He's getting really close.
I think so. Maybe
Willie Mays.
Willie Mays one certainly in there.
This one will never happen, and it probably for a lot of reasons. But 21 for Roberto Clemente is one of the biggest. Mm-hmm. I wish they would do it for Curt Flood because he really. Well, he broke the reserve clause. He took the arrows that caused basically you being chattel, you being property. You had no liberation, no freedom. I mean, you look around college sports now at that, and Curt Flood's the one that did that and fought the reserve clause, and Major League Baseball finally had to yield to free agency. And it saddens me that tonight, how many players in baseball wouldn't even know who Curt Flood is?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could take a poll for all the players. I think it would be almost resounding.
They do know Jackie Robinson, though.
Absolutely. And certainly that's the one that matters today. And,
Hank Aaron's number could
I think so.
The Braves might do that one year.
That would be fun.
On a April 4th honor 44.
Yeah.
And all of them go out in 44s.
Cool. Yeah, and do the throwback jerseys and have that. I think that'd be really fun. So yeah, I mean, there's a handful that certainly I think deserve it.
The Giants, I know the Giants have a statue, and the Braves have a statue of Hank Aaron. The Giants have one of Willie Mays outside the ballpark, but they were something.
Yo, absolutely. So it's gonna be fun today. I kind of forgot today was Jackie Robinson Day, and I was going through last night looking at the slate of baseball we had today, and I was like, a Monday where every team is playing, like that is very odd. And so then I kind of started thinking, and then it all clicked. Oh, tomorrow is Jackie Robinson Day, and it was fun already. Like I mentioned earlier, one game down and seeing all those 42s out there, it's really fun.
And it caused me to look up some of the great 42s from other sports, and I'm going to get to that as later. I've got it in my notes.
Yeah.
But in Memphis Grizzlies history, one player to ever wear 42.
Okay.
Lorenzen Van Gagne Wright.
Thought it was Lorenzen Wright. Well, he's the only one?
The only one.
Wow.
And my favorite 42 in Tiger basketball history, Hank McDowell.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. So we got a couple really good 42s here locally with the Grizzlies and the Tigers.
We had a famous 42 here in the World Football League with Paul Warfield.
Oh wow. Did not know that he was number 42. So that's interesting. Great number, certainly represented today. I'm eager to hear all the other really good 42s.
Them was some real good numbers.
Sure.
It really was.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. But we need to go ahead and wrap up this second hour, get to a break, and when we come back to start our third and final hour, DeMichael Cole, he'll join us. We'll talk a lot about the Grizzlies. They played 2 games over the weekend to wrap up their season, but also today was exit interview day for the Grizzlies. So he was at FedEx Forum and heard a lot from a lot of the guys on the team, from Coach Jenkins. So a lot to get to in the next segment with DeMichael Cole, Grizzlies beat writer from the Commercial Appeal.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
All 650 acquisition P 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE 756 120, MSRP 22,320, EV6 P56 03393, MSRP 50,200. Telluride RG5 1041, MSRP 37,935. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/2024. Dealer stock only.
Hey, Jeff Allen, what's happening over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah Wonderland?
Randy, we are making magic on Mount Moriah. 2024 Kia Forte LXS, 41 MPG Highway, $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month, and a 2024 Telluride LX front-wheel drive, $369. Both $39.99 due at signing, all 24-month lease.
And 0% for 48 months on 2024 EV9, and always get peace of mind with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
So get over there, Gossett Kia South, 2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Is your home screaming for an upgrade? Listen closely because Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing is about to make your day. First up, say goodbye to cold showers and hello to endless hot water with our tankless water heater upgrade. Not only does it save space and energy, but it also keeps the hot water flowing exactly when you need it. And here's the kicker. Switch from your old tank to a sleek, efficient tankless water heater now, and Choates will hand you a $500 credit. Yep, you heard that right. $500 back in your pocket. But wait, there's more. Clogged drains are a hassle no homeowner wants to deal with. With Choates' special offer, get your drains cleared for just $93 or it's absolutely free. That's our guarantee to make it drain or you don't pay a dime. So why wait? Call Choates today at 347-8086 or visit us online at choateshvac.com. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
The 82-game preseason is in the books, and it's finally time for the real season. Don't miss out on any of the NBA playoff action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. From the play-in tournament through the finals, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. 90 seconds, all it takes. The code is HERD, H-E-R-D. New customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Code HERD on DraftKings.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.co/bball for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
Challenging, purposeful, rewarding.
I was the only female in my class, so I call them my brothers to this day because they supported me, they helped me. Like, I couldn't do pull-ups. I went to the gym, we worked out together, so it was fun.
We have the unique opportunity as deputies of interacting with people at some of the worst and sometimes most transitional or pivotal moments of their lives.
Come join our team, become a patrol deputy with the Shelby County Sheriff's Office.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's pretty crowded going outbound on Sam Cooper over here at Highland and Perkins as that traffic increases in a couple of spots in the Midtown area, especially as you make your way down 240 South here at South Parkway, I-40 going westbound, right past Danny Thomas across the bridge back over into West Memphis. We've watched that really pick up again just in the last few minutes. Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64, is your full-service family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and joining us now from the Commercial Appeal, the Grizzlies beat writer DeMichael Cole joins us on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. DeMichael, thanks so much for joining us. It was a busy day for you today as exit interviews for the Grizzlies. A lot of guys talked earlier today, but what was your biggest takeaway from everything you heard this morning?
Yeah, it was kind of confirmation of some things that we thought and kind of knew if you've been looking at just the landscape of the roster right now. And the main thing is just to hear, how forwardly thinking and just how, pretty much everyone, the message was clear. They're going to get another big man to put in this rotation. That was the biggest takeaway for me. There was no tiptoeing around it. Kleiman, he said it. It's clear. That's something that they want to add. That's something that they need to add. They didn't say that the guy has to be a starter. They didn't say if it's going to be through the draft, through trade, free agency. But at the end of the day, it's very clear that, they're comfortable with the guards that they have. The wings progressed well throughout the season. Then you got Jaren in the front court. Brandon Clark came back, played well. They want to add another big man to go in that group.
Where do you think the best place to add one from is?
Oh, it's very situational. At the end of the day, I think the best place is the draft because of you can get a cost-controlled player where you can get very good, I guess, bang for your buck, so to speak. Any other route you go, there are going to be some corresponding moves that have to be made, in my opinion. If you go through free agency, you may be able to get someone for a minimum or whatever the case may be. But if that's the player that you're getting, then you're going to get a so-so rotation type player. If you go via trade, yes, you're going to get a player back in the trade, but you're also going to trade away some type of asset or something of value, contractually or player-wise or draft pick compensation-wise to get that player. The only way that you can kind of get the best of both worlds is through the draft. And the Grizzlies have a high enough pick where if someone's available in that range, we've been talking about Donovan Clingan for a while, you can get a center who, rookie year might be all right, but you got 5 years of contract control. And we talked about how much that matters going forward because of the situation around the team. So you tell me, hey, you can go get a guy 5 years of contract control, with a not too high price tag, but potentially could give you, production of a player that would cost 2, maybe even 3 times as much, then that's a win for me.
DeMichael, do you think the Grizzlies value Donovan Clingan?
I think so. I haven't heard much in terms of their interest in him yet at this point, but it's still very early, and we know with Clingan, a lot of people haven't talked about it, but the medicals are going to be a thing. He had some injuries in the past, so we'll see. Medically, what happens there. But yeah, I think there is clear interest in upgrading this roster at the center spot, and he's right there in your face. Like it's right there in your face. The Grizzlies can't avoid it, so I think there's definitely some interest there.
I saw some people kind of pointing on social media that the fact Luke Kennard did not have an exit interview. Did that tell you something about the Grizzlies' plans for him this offseason, or do you think that was just, something he didn't talk, whatever, move on?
It was more noteworthy because of Kleiman's comments, I think. Yeah. It definitely, there were a couple other guys that was like, so, whatever. Like, John Conchar wasn't there. So whatever. But when Kleiman talked about Luke Kennard, because you're right, the contract situation, the $14.7 million team option is definitely one of the biggest questions as we head into the offseason. And he basically talked about how the team values Kennard, and then he was non-committal on how they will address the situation. In the past, Kleiman won't say exactly like, hey, we're going to pick the option up. But he will lead you in that direction and saying, look, this is a guy we're not trying to let leave Memphis or anything like that. So it wasn't said exactly like that. What I got from it is, I think that they want to keep Kennard, but that $14.7 million price tag is a questionable one. So it's a situation where maybe he wasn't, he didn't speak because of the fact that you never know, what a player's going to say when he's asked about that, like this, because I'm sure from his perspective, he probably wants to play at that number. Feels like he's been one of the best three-point shooters over the last couple of years while being on the Grizzlies in the NBA. And at the end of the day, I think from Kleiman's comments, you can gather that the best case scenario from the Grizzlies would probably be extending him but declining that option to give them less of a per year cost, but also give them the stability of multiple years on a contract. So I feel like that's probably the way the Grizzlies want to lean at this point, whereas, Kennard, it's $14.7 million. It's probably, it's a big payday. So I didn't take too much of it when we saw that Kennard wasn't there, but listening to Kleinman's comments, he didn't sound like he knew exactly what was going to happen in that situation. That's not too common with him.
DeMichael, do you know who in the scouting department who covered and watched and scouted more of Klingen's games? And do you know at the very top, up to Zach Kleiman, if he himself in person scouted Klingen in a game this year at UConn?
I don't know if he scouted Klingen in particular. I know he's been on the trails a lot. In the Grizzlies scouting department has. I know they went overseas, and some of the bigger names in the draft to scout over there. They've been over there. The G League showcases, the Grizzlies have had heavy presences there. So when it comes to scouting guys, like Ron Holland, Buzelis, and those players, the Ignite type guys, they've been heavily scouting those players as well as some college prospects. But those are the ones that I'm more familiar with the Grizzlies having their eyes on. I haven't had anyone tell me that they've seen Donovan Klingen in person up to this point.
You mentioned that you think the most logistical way to bring in a center would be through the draft, and kind of Klingen's kind of that one that a lot of people have talked about towards the top of the draft where the Grizzlies will likely be picking. If Donovan Klingen is not there, I know they said today that best available or trade back. Do you think the Grizzlies would trade back to go get another center that's in this draft class? Is there another center that kind of sticks out to you that might fit what the Grizzlies are looking for?
Nah, not to me. At least not in that type of role. Like this is the Memphis Grizzlies. Like you got John Morant, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson Jr. You're trying to win. Mm-hmm. Like you need someone that's going to come in. You don't need guys that we think he can play, but we're not. You need dogs. Like Donovan Klingen, every center that lined up in front of him this season had a different type of game. Mm-hmm. Even Zach Edey, you look at his raw numbers in that game, he had a pretty productive game. But if you watch it, Zach Edey had got great post position in that game, and he was missing shots that he was never missing throughout the season, just because of the 7'7" wingspan of Klingen, who would kind of be in good position on the defensive end. So he's the one guy who I feel like right now you can say he is closer to being NBA ready than a lot of these prospects where hit or miss, whatever the case may be. Like, and then there's just different types of bigs, right? Mm-hmm. Like Kyle Filipowski, the Duke big, 7-footer, 240 pounds. I love his offensive game. So he'd be great for a different team potentially. The Grizzlies, they don't need a guy who's going to be playing his type of game, in my opinion. Like he's a better fit somewhere else because he's probably maybe a better version of Santi Aldama, and I don't think that's what the Grizzlies need. So for what the team needs and what they value, Klingen is the guy. So I think if you don't get Klingen, if he goes 4 or 5 or and you're at 7 or whatever the case may be, then you just chalk it up. Say, hey, we're going to go attack free agency. We're going to try to get someone for a decent price, and we're going to go best available in the draft.
I know you'll remember this game last year. I know it was one game, and that's not it's just one game. I know what it is. But the Filipowski game last year against Tennessee in the tournament scares me. They backed him down.
Yeah, that's the only question with him, right? Well, not the only question, but it's the main question is the physicality part of it, and that's why I said he's a different type of big, because you look at the shooting, the touch, the fadeaway, the pick and pop. Like you look at the offensive side of it, you put him alongside of Jaren, Jadez, and those guys. Man, he can step in right now. Like he has the fadeaway, he has the mid range, smooth game. But then you go to defensive end, and it's like you said, the Tennessee game stands out. North Carolina earlier this year against Armando Bacot, against DJ Burns, twice, whether it was in the ACC tournament or in the NCAA tournament. Like it's the physicality standpoint of him. Like he projects better as a 4, but at 7 feet, 240 plus pounds, he's going to have to play some 5 in the league, and that's a big question mark for him. That's the reason he's not a certified top 10 pick right now. Offensively, he has all the top 10 pick stuff to me. It's all about defense.
Earlier today, Taylor Jenkins mentioned that he anticipates G.G. Jackson playing summer league games this year for the Grizzlies. For him, I mean, he's been one of the biggest stories of the season, just what you kind of have now in G.G. Jackson, a really poor season at South Carolina, getting drafted in the second round, and then getting a ton of playing time this year because of all the injuries. What do you want to see from G.G. Jackson in summer league? What are some things you want to see him work on before we get back to kind of a healthy regular season for the Grizzlies?
Yeah, well, just from a raw perspective, I just want to see dominant. You know, just dominant. Just go out there and look like you're better than everybody else. Like, look like one of those guys after they play 2-3 summer league games. You say, all right, shut them down. Yeah. That's enough. Like you know, the Grizzlies did a couple years ago with Desmond Bane and whatnot. Like, that's all you should see. But when you break down his game, like, G.G. has to grow as a playmaker in more than any other area of his game. Like, this year, it was exciting when G.G. Jackson had 3 assists in a game. That can't be the case going forward, because you're going to have basically a bunch of dudes on the floor when you take those. Like, people don't care right now when he pulls up in transition and takes those, I guess you can call them ill-advised three-point shots. It doesn't matter because, hey, G.G. Jackson's probably the best option you got on the court to shoot the ball. But when you got John Moran on one end, Desmond Bane on the other end, and Jaren Jackson Jr. in the post going up against a smaller guy, and G.G. Jackson pulls up for that shot and he misses it, everyone's going to be saying, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? But in reality, it's the game he's been playing. So I think you want to see him grow more as an all-around player on the offensive end, make that extra pass. He's talked a lot about this. Like, it's not something he's not unaware of, making that extra pass, being a better playmaker. It was a question on him coming out of college. It was questionable, you know, thing, even when he was the top prospect or whatever the case may be. Like, always been that thing. Like, he even says it himself. Like, he jokes about it. He was joking about it a couple days ago when he was talking to the media. Like, you know, he says he loves it when the team tells him to keep shooting. Like, when the Grizzlies saying keep shooting. Like, that's, you know, that's like his love language in a way. Like, yes, keep shooting. Oh, I love to hear that. But in reality, it's the playmaking part of his game. That's the area that's going to take him from a rotation player to a starter, or a starter to a potential start.
Yeah.
DeMichael, how did they actually do it? How did they win 27 games? That's remarkable.
Sure is.
Defense. Well, that's it. you all those guys that they were bringing in were very defensive sound guys, and Taylor Jenkins, to his credit, we can talk about the offense all summer long, and how half-court offense needs to prove, how they need to shoot the ball better and all that. I bet you we won't be having the same conversation about the defense. Like, every year, the defense continues to produce. They were top 5 the last couple years before this, and they finished in the top 3rd, I believe, 12th in defensive rating this season, despite, you know, everything that changed around the team constantly. So, and you talk about Marcus Smart missing most of the season, and other plus defenders as well. But you bring in guys like Jordan Goodwin, like that's what he does. And Scottie Pippen Jr., very solid defender. Trey Jemison holds his own in the paint. All these guys that they kept bringing in, for the most part, were guys who were going to make their names on the defensive end. Even the first 10-day contracts that they gave out was to Jalen Noel, who's an offensive-minded player, but Shaq Harrison was the other, who was pretty much stuck around the league for 5-6 years just solely off of defense. So it was very clear that they wanted to bring in defensive-minded guys to put around their players. And if you watch, you know, when we watched the games a lot this year, it was a lot of low 100s, 80s, 90s type games. And it was because, one, they couldn't score, but two, they played very good defense. So I was watching that Mavs OKC. I wasn't watching it, but I wanted to go see how did they get blown out so bad. So I just skimmed through it a little bit, watched the YouTube highlights or whatever. And basically what stood out to me is they just threw guys out there. So from a talent perspective, was comparable to what the Grizzlies have had on the floor. But what's been different is the Grizzlies have thrown out their defensive-minded lineup that allowed them to stay in games as opposed to get blown out by 50 points, a lot of the time.
DeMichael, really hard to gauge. We have 5-day weather forecasts. We have 7-day, and we have 10-day.
Sure.
I want you to go 52 weeks from today. 52 weeks from today, and the injury toll is not even in the same time zone as this year. It's kind of, air quotes here, normal NBA Grizzlies year, games missed year. How many games will the Grizzlies win, and what would be their playoff seed?
They're back in the hunt. They're back in the hunt emphatically. I say right now, I throw 48 wins, and I put them at maybe the fifth seed, four or five. I'd say four probably. 49 wins in the fourth seed.
And I think every fair-minded person has to acknowledge that it was just an overwhelming amount of injuries this year. But this time next year, 52 weeks from now, we have that normal NBA injury year, and it's not that. And they're not in the playoffs. Who's in trouble? Is it front office? Is it head coach? Who's in trouble this time next year if it's not injury-laden and it's not playoffs?
Well, if they're in trouble next year, I think we'll be able to pretty much blame that on some offensive struggles. Like I think for a 5-year stretch now, we've seen the defense constantly produce. Like if the defense is the reason this team isn't good, everyone's going to be confused. So if they have offensive struggles again after last offseason, half-court offense was a big conversation. This offseason, improving the offense is going to be a very big part of the conversation. So at that point, you're talking about year 6, and it's going to be a question. It's not even going to be a question anymore. It's going to be doubt on whether Taylor Jenkins can take the team to that next step on the offensive side of the basketball. So I think he'll probably be in the most trouble at that point. I think this is also a big offseason for Zach Kleiman because, again, you're about to start operating in some restrictions here because of the contracts of Marcus Smart, Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, and Ja Morant all being over $20 million, and you're going into the first apron. Now you got to hit on these, draft picks that complement these players, go out to free agency and target the right complementary guys that are going to be put around. So everything is super complimentary now. You can't just throw money at players and say, come to Memphis. You can't just, price your way into things. You have to be very, very strategic. So it's a big year for him, too, but I think it all starts with Taylor Jenkins. He's at the top of the list because if the offense does not show, improvements, I think from a talent standpoint, the Grizzlies should be a top 10 offense in the NBA. You got Ja Morant, and then you got Desmond Bane. That's the perfect yin-yang combo to me. You got the slasher, and you got the sniper from three-point range, and then you got Jaren Jackson Jr., who's developed into one of the best all-around offensive players from the standpoint of he can score in isolations, he can pick and pop, he can post up a little bit more now. Like, you got all those facets. So I think offensively they should be much improved. So if they're not, there are going to be some doubt.
And 6 years is a really big demarcation point for this franchise because after 6 years of the previous front office led by Chris Wallace, they were in the Western Conference Finals and it had a 56-win season. And now, after 5 years, this group has won one postseason series.
Yeah, had a 56-win season, and that was the year they won that one postseason series that you mentioned. And that's why this is a big year. That's why, like, when we talk about this past season, most people kind of just chalk it up, it's a lost season, whatever. No, I feel like this is a year we can reflect on for 4 or 5 more years to come if the Grizzlies don't come out of this situation with at least the Western Conference Finals appearance or an NBA Finals appearance or whatever the case may be, because this was supposed to be the year. We were supposed to know this summer, the Marcus Smart, Ja Morant, Desmond Bane pairing definitely works. But we think it works now. But there are some people who are saying, start Vince Williams or whatever the case may be. It's because we didn't see enough of the Ja, Des, and Marcus Smart trio to be kind of sold on what they can be. So we still have a lot of the same questions as last season. The half-court offense, we were supposed to know at this point. Okay, yeah, the Grizzlies can be one of the top half-court offenses, or no, now they need to go into this offseason and make some trades. We still don't know. So it feels like a stagnant year, in my opinion. Yes, you got the development, with G.G. Jackson and Vince Williams, and that helps tremendously. But overall, from a team-building standpoint, this is the year we need to see a lot of things get done, but it almost feels like the Grizzlies are going into it kind of either guessing or blind into what's the next move they need to make.
Yeah. DeMichael Cole joins us from the Commercial Appeal. He's the Grizzlies beat writer. Before we let you go, DeMichael, I am curious, kind of changing the subject a little bit. We've got the play-ins for the Western Conference starting tomorrow night. Lakers-Pelicans in the first game, and then Warriors-Kings in the second. Who do you think makes it out of the play-ins in the Western Conference?
Woo! I'm going to keep it simple. I think the 7 and the 8 seeds are going to make it out in the West.
Yeah.
I think the Pelicans, they'll win this second round. They'll win this second round matchup against the Lakers. I don't know, man. LeBron's a smart dude. I don't think LeBron knows those boys don't want to see Denver, and they won't purposely tank the game. But if it's the fourth quarter and they're down 10 and it's 5 minutes to go, they say, you know what? Let's go get, Sacramento or Golden State. And in that case, they'll be at home. They should have a pretty good opportunity to win that game. I think the Pelicans are your 7, probably go against the Nuggets. And then that 8 seed, which will be a very interesting series, potentially, could be the Thunder and the Lakers.
Yeah, well, it's going to be fun. I'm really excited for both of these matchups tomorrow night and kind of see how it all plays out. Well, DeMichael, as always, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next Monday.
All right, take care, guys.
Thanks, DeMichael.
Thank you so much. DeMichael Cole with us from the Commercial Appeal on the Grizzlies beat, and it will be a very interesting run-up to ping pong ball night, and then after that, knowing exactly where the Grizzlies are drafting and what do. Do they go big in the draft or they go big in free agency? You're going to do it one or the other.
Sure. Yeah, so you got to figure it out. I guess if and that's kind of what I liked to hear today of, we're going best available, and if we have to trade back, we'll trade back. But if not, if we're just picking, we're going to go best available. So if they're not sold on the center that is available there, they're not going to force anything and say, oh, let's go with Kyle Filipowski or, Khalil Ware's been moving up the draft boards. Let's just go and see what we could have in one of these guys, So I like the way that they're approaching this offseason. It's going to be very, very interesting. But I do like that they have said, big man is a need, and we're going to go fill that one way or the other this offseason.
At All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, together, let's drive. You want to get charged up? Come out to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch and test drive one of the new EV Blazers. They've got it. Just put in the charger and you're ready to go. It's still Chevy truck season. If you're ready for a new Silverado, all the Silverados with financing down to 2.9 for 72 months, they have them, and thousands in cash and trade. That's at All-Star Chevrolet. First exit into Mississippi on Highway 78, Kraft Goodman Road, and you're there. The new Equinox and Trailblazers with 1.9 financing. No payments for 90 days. Your good credit deserves it, and you get it at All-Star. If you want pre-owned, they've got it. Everything you want is there. Tahoes, Jeeps, Ram trucks, a Suburban, Traverse with third-row seating. If it's not on the lot, ask Kevin or Jeff, and they'll find it for you. Teachers, college students, first responders, healthcare workers, military, you all get an instant extra $500 bonus back. Where are you going for graduation, for Mother's Day, that first big summer road trip, a baseball trip? Better yet, what are you driving? You need to be driving something from All-Star. Remember, it's not South Haven, not Mount Moriah, Bartlett, or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Come on down to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch today, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
When
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place: the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
Hey, Mid-South! Discover your new ride at Gossett Kia on the Pike. You want it? We Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. 41 MPG Highway, $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about 2023 Kia EV6 Wind, rear-wheel drive, $249 a month. Plus, Gossett Kia's got 2024 Telluride LX front-wheel drive, $369 a month. Both $39.99 due at signing, all 24-month lease. And you'll always find peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So stop what you're doing and call Bobby J, because he's ready to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition P, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte RE 756 120, MSRP 22,320, EV6 P56 03393, MSRP 50,200, Telluride RG5 1041, MSRP 37,935, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details, offer valid through 4/30/2024, dealer stock only.
Around here at Wrangler, we are all excited for spring. The longer days, the warmer nights. When you've got your pick of shorts and jeans, either works just fine. Blue skies, open roads. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
All 650 acquisition P, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte RE 756 120, MSRP 22,320, EV6 P56 03393, MSRP 50,200, Telluride RG5 1041, MSRP 37,935, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details, offer valid through 4/30/2024, dealer stock only.
Hey, Jeff Allen, what's happening over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah Wonderland?
Randy, we are making magic on Mount Moriah. 2024 Kia Forte LXS, 41 MPG Highway, $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia EV6 Wind, $249 a month, and a 2024 Telluride LX front-wheel drive, $369. Both $39.99 due at signing, all 24-month lease.
And 0% for 48 months on 2024 EV9, and always get peace of mind with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
So get over there, Gossett Kia South, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Here's what we see. Slow traffic already over here. It's been this way on and off for the last 2 or 3 hours on 240 East up by Poplar. Now it has really cranked up south of town, but it's moving on. 55 down through South Haven as you continue down into DeSoto County. It's increasing with that volume on Sam Cooper going outbound, passing Perkins, working your way towards I-40. Once you get on I-40 eastbound, that's moving right now from Sycamore View Road all the way out into Fayette County. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in the Memphis area. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. A little bit left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending, and we do need to cross some T's, dot some I's. And Brett, I don't know if you have this readily available. I'm sure you do. But Showboat Bankroll over the weekend, not kind to us. Do you have where we stand?
In fact, very unkind to us.
Very unkind. I mean,
and very unkind to. I hate it, Johnny, but now you're 1-2 in Showboat Bankroll, and the very odd wager of $45 goes against you. and you're now at plus 905 for the year. That really means down 95 since we all started with a grand. Bryant, you had a loss, as did I. My loss was for 25. Yours was for 50. I'm at 1150 for the year at 2-1. You're at plus 1050 for the year at 2-1. And the Showboat game Saturday night, I don't know if Birmingham's that good or the Showboats are that bad.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't run it and they couldn't pass protect.
No.
It's a really bad combination.
It's not a combination.
It's a terrible combination.
We kind of started seeing that in their that game against San Antonio, and really saw it this past week. And now Birmingham, really tore Memphis up last year, and down the stretch, Memphis figured some things out. And
did you see the banner ceremony unveiling for Birmingham?
How about that? Magoo in the house. So they've had
Pat Smith and the Jocks crew was there. He said, great atmosphere in and around the stadium and the uptown area for Birmingham. Really revived by that football stadium right in the middle of downtown Birmingham.
Certainly has been a rich, short history for Birmingham in spring football. I mean,
Birmingham thrives in those leagues. They won the Birmingham Americans won the one and only title in the old World Football League. Wow. The next year they were the Birmingham Vulcans, and we're doing for Vulcan Mountain, and we're really doing really well. And then the plug got pulled, and they were good in the USFL, the first USFL, but never won it with Raleigh Dosh as coach. And then they were good in XFL and real good last year. Champions last year in USFL second go around.
Yeah.
Now UFL.
Yeah. So now UFL, but
it's a lot of L's.
Won the first 2 seasons. They were in the USFL, and now I guess looking to win a UFL championship.
Pat said the crowd was a little bit hindered. He thought it would have been even better.
Yeah.
But for the 72,000 at Bryant Denny for A-Day, that took a lot of people down to Tuscaloosa.
Well, and I think we talked about it on Friday, where I was seeing a lot of it shocks me that we have Twitter accounts dedicated to the Birmingham Stallions, but we do. Don't get it twisted. And the 2 or 3 that I saw, they were like, people, you can watch A-Day on television. We need you at the Birmingham Stallions game.
They'll get them the rest of the year.
They will. They've had good crowds, and even a good crowd, even though A-Day was going on, a good crowd on Saturday for them. But they're a good team, but, man, they beat up on the Showboats.
One more on the road at St. Louis. That won't be easy either, and that will be a huge crowd. And then back home, first time since the opening game for the Showboats on Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock on Fox. And I think later on Sunday will help. I don't know that winning either of these games would have helped, but it doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't hurt. But like I said, last year got beat up against Birmingham, at Birmingham, I believe. And so, that team almost made the playoffs last year. So, one game I don't think kills you.
Breaking news from Major League Baseball from the announcer's booth for the Yankees. John Sterling, the longtime voice of the Yankees, he is done. He's calling it quit effective immediately.
Oh, wow.
Has not called a game since April 7th.
Dang.
And has the record for 5,060 consecutive games from September 1989 to July 2019. The native New Yorker was on the air for 24 postseason trips, 7 World Series appearances, and 5 World Series titles, 85 years old. And for a long time, John Sterling would not let anybody know his age. He was very protective of that and was scared it could be used against him. Well, we know every passing year the birthday candles arrive, don't they? And for John Sterling, he's calling it quits effective immediately.
Wow, quite the resume.
Sure is, and a lot of teams.
Sure.
I remember him first with the Braves on TBS.
Wow. So, that's kind of surprising, but like you said, kind of been away for a little bit. So, man, I hate to see that he's gone.
Doesn't sound like probably his health.
Yeah.
Great. Our golf picks, we had 8 players make the cut. That's good for us.
That's really good. And especially first week, that's really good.
first week, John gets there with Scotty Scheffler, but
no surprise.
His shock was good with Will Zalatoris. Sure I was really dubious that pick. T9 for Will Zalatoris. Yeah. Bryant, you had Matt Fitzpatrick as a lock, T22, Adam Hadwin, T53. Johnny, you had John Rahm, last year's champ. Mm-hmm. This year, T45, and you had Tony Finau, T55, and he had a disastrous Sunday.
Yeah.
That hurts you.
That really did.
Hurt you badly. I had Brooks Koepka, T45, and just master of the obvious here, way too many bogeys. He made the birdies over Thursday through Sunday, but he'd make a birdie, then two bogeys, then a birdie and a bogey.
Yeah. For every birdie felt like three bogeys. I mean, good Lord.
It did. And Cameron Smith I had as my shock.
Good weekend.
He finished T6, real good weekend for him. Now to Hilton Head, and now the news today of the live offer to Rory McIlroy.
Crazy.
If that's true, he has to sign it. You can call him names the rest of his life. You don't turn down $800 million.
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
That money doesn't even feel real.
Man, you got to get that. That's life-changing, generational changing.
So,
look, everybody has a price. You can talk. You can say all you want. I don't. I would never do it. Okay, let somebody float $800 million across your desk,
and I'm taking it.
Well, this is kind of the perfect case study of that. They have tried to get Rory, and certainly Rory is a type of player that Liv would want on their tour, and he has continuously kind of been the poster boy for PGA Tour of he's our guy, he's not going to leave, and so they just keep upping it. And now with this, I mean, that is really hard to turn
Man,
down.
I don't know how you turn it down.
I mean, it's a big price.
There's no way in 20 lives he could make that playing the tour.
No.
European tour, any tour.
No. So that was incredible. I mean, I was shocked to see that, and I guess now we wait, and he's a guy that, like I said, was very outspoken when this started about PGA, the most. And then we kind of saw him over the last 6 months to a year kind of get quieter. I don't want to say,
well, he had the plank broken off behind him.
Sure, yeah. And so, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
And morals and scruples and facts and opinions can change when the facts change.
Sure, absolutely. And so now, I mean, it seems like, PGA and Liv, it seems like eventually, it seems sooner rather than later, something's going to happen with them, and so I don't know. I think you take it and see what happens.
Still, my favorite guy in all this was Pat Perez, journeyman on the tour, good player, fabulous life, and he just flat said, "Yeah, I took the money."
Yeah, took the money. That, and then I would say that's also probably my favorite. And then not far behind is Brooks Koepka, who basically said, I thought I was broken. And I mean, I've been injured for 2 straight years, and they're offering me all this money. What am I going to say? No?
I took it.
Yeah. So.
The blowback against Rory will be he was a hypocrite. Everybody's got a price. Now he's in bed with murderers and assassins and all that from the Saudi royal family. But I don't know how you can turn down $800 million. No. The offer for Tiger 2 or 3 years ago, I don't know what it was, but it was way up there. The offer reportedly by all the golf magazines, all the golf writers, for Jack Nicklaus to be in the role that Greg Norman is in was $100 million.
Crazy.
To be the face of Liv.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, the money that they can throw around is just incredible.
Brian, I never got around to this last week after UConn won because we had so much with Calipari and the Masters and the rest of the week. So so no new champion for this 21st century.
Right.
So that leaves for college basketball in the 21st century 13 different champions. Now, in fairness, they had the 1 year that they didn't have a champion because of COVID. 13 is the same number of different champions as college football.
Wow.
Even with that 1 year, I still don't think most people would associate because Alabama wins it all the time, and then Georgia won it all the time. Not only that, from college football, well, the SEC wins it all the time. Well, they win it a lot of times, but they've had 13 champions in college football, 5 different from the SEC. there are 5 different conferences represented in that 13 college football national champions in the 21st century. In college basketball, 13 different champions, with the most being from the ACC, and that's counting Syracuse now in the ACC when they really won it in the Big East, but I'm going to count it as that. And they have 5 conferences.
Wow.
Big Ten in both, football and basketball. ACC in both. SEC in both. Big 12 in both. Then the difference in college football, one from the Pac-12. The difference in college basketball, the Big East.
Sure. Wow. That's crazy. I mean, because
same conference, same number of conferences.
That's right.
Same number of teams.
Crazy.
The college basketball devotees, well, you couldn't convince them that it's the same number.
No, because it's, the tournament is so wide open and
everybody's got a
that's
chance.
right.
Binghamton can win it. No, they can't.
Exactly. Oh yeah. What? Who was the team last year? Oh, Fairleigh Dickinson. Look at them pulling off the upset.
Florida Gulf Coast.
They can win it. That's right. Florida Gulf Coast.
It's a 2-day story.
Exactly.
And sometimes 2 weeks.
Well, and that I think I just proved my point by saying who was that team last year?
That's
Fairleigh
it.
Dickinson. Right.
And from college basketball to get someone new for the 21st century, for both sports, football and basketball, I think the first place you have to look, well, who's done it before in the last century in college basketball? That would bring in Indiana, Arizona, UCLA, and Arkansas. Arkansas is measuring the place at Bud Walton Arena to hang the next banner. They're convinced they're gonna get one. In college football, from the past, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Penn State, Michigan was kind of that this time last year, and they got there this year. Kind of newbies in both from college basketball, Oregon, Gonzaga,
Sure, absolutely.
Auburn, Texas, Tennessee, and Houston.
Yeah.
College football is very limited on who could really join.
Sure is. It sure is.
It's hard to come up with somebody that didn't win one in the 20th that you can make a strong case for now, but with the playoffs makes it so different.
Yeah, that opens it up certainly a little bit, and that's going to be kind of what we start tracking now with the playoffs is, which matchup in that first round is, comes up with the most upsets or something like that. I mean, it'll be fun.
I failed to mention today, and I'm going to do it a little more tomorrow when Brent Beard joins us to talk college football, the passing of Steve Sloan, and he was head coach at Ole Miss. He was head coach at Vanderbilt. He was head coach at Vanderbilt. He was named head coach at Vandy when he was 28. On opening day, he was 29 years old. Wow. So just imagine, and he big-time college quarterback at Alabama, a cup of coffee in the NFL. Imagine Seth Hennigan or Jalen Milroe or Jackson Dart or any 22, 23-year-old college quarterback this year in 6 years being a head coach.
Crazy.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
And Steve Sloan did it, and he was a really good player at Alabama. Texas Tech went through 3 different coaches in the 70s that left for other jobs. Jim Carlin left Texas Tech to go to South Carolina. Steve Sloan left Texas Tech to go to Ole Miss, and Rex Dockery left Texas Tech to come to Memphis.
Wow. How about that?
And Steve Sloan and Rex Dockery go back to childhood in Tennessee.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They were from the same hometown. Steve Sloan was a little bit older than Rex Dockery, and Rex Dockery was on his staff at Vandy and at Ole Miss, on his staff at Ole Miss. At Vandy, and then succeeded him at Texas Tech.
Interesting. I did not know that. So
and famously on Steve Sloan's staffs at Vanderbilt and at Texas Tech, but they did not go to Ole Miss with him. Bill Parcells and Romeo Crennel.
Wow.
And everybody at Ole Miss said that made a difference.
Oh, I'm sure. Wow, that is crazy.
He was 33 at Ole Miss when he was named head coach. That's young.
That's extremely young. That is insane. Well, let's go ahead, get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You can't say that.
But it's true.
You just made that up.
No, I didn't. You can get to any Central Barbecue location from anywhere in Memphis in 10 minutes, depending on traffic.
You made that up.
Try me.
Bartlett.
The Summer Avenue Central Barbecue.
Germantown.
Not Memphis, but the Poplar location.
South Memphis.
Downtown.
Olive Branch.
Again, not Memphis, but the South Haven Central Barbecue.
I still don't think you can say you can get to there any of them in 10 minutes.
Well, that's why it's depending on traffic.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte RE756 120, MSRP 22,320, EV6 P56 03393, MSRP 50,200, Telluride RG5 1041, MSRP 37,935, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details, offer valid through 4/30/2024, dealer stock only.
Hey, Jeff Allen, what's happening over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah Wonderland?
Randy, we are making magic on Mount Moriah. 2024 Kia Forte LXS, 41 MPG Highway, $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month, and a 2024 Telluride LX front-wheel drive, $369. Both $39.99 due at signing, all 24-month lease.
And 0% for 48 months on 2024 EV9, and always get peace of mind with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
So get over there, Gossett Kia South, 2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with two of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
As the seasons change, so does the need for reliable home comfort. It's time to turn to the experts with Choates, where your family's comfort is our top priority. Right now, Choates is making it easier than ever to upgrade your home's climate control with our exceptional Carrier systems. There's never been a better time to enhance your comfort. Select from incredibly low monthly payments, 36 months no interest financing, or choose our $1,650 Cool Cash rebate instead and lower the upfront cost on select Carrier systems. It's not just savings, it's Cool Cash in your pocket. Low monthly payments, no interest financing, or Cool Cash rebates? Whatever you choose, you're choosing quality, reliability, and the trusted service of Choates. Call us today at 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com to learn more about these incredible savings. But hurry, these deals are as fleeting as a cool breeze on a hot day. Choates, let our family serve your family.
Around here at Wrangler, we are all excited for spring. The longer days, the warmer nights. When you've got your pick of shorts and jeans, either works just fine. Blue skies, open roads. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla. with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today, since today is the first day after the end of the regular season, a lot of teams are posting things on social media, and the Lakers posted that Austin Reeves was the only player on the Lakers this season to play in all 82 games this season. I think I went through and looked. 16 players in the NBA played in 82 games this year, but it is not the most games played this year in the NBA.
Oh, yeah, they'll play in.
Well, no, not even that. Buddy Hield played 84 games because he was traded mid-season. One of those weird played handful of games came in, and Philadelphia had to play more games to end the season. So that was very interesting. To
84 game checks.
How about that?
Way to go, Buddy Hield. That's a great nugget, Brian. Really good. What I learned today, that Cardinals at 7-9, right where they were last year. 1 home run from Arenado, 1 from Paul Goldschmidt, 0 base runners thrown out, gaping holes everywhere, including in the front office and in the dugout with the field manager.
Yeah.
It feels just as hopeless as last year did.
It sure does. I mean, and remember, first week we were so, whoa, they played so well, and not anymore.
Lost 3 out of 4 to the Dodgers, and we were proud of it. That says something.
Yeah, not fun. It has not been fun at all. What I could have done without, I saw this earlier this morning, and it just it broke my heart. A Tennessee State football player was killed by a hit-and-run driver earlier this morning. Tennessee State University football player was killed walking across Gallatin Pike early Sunday morning by a hit-and-run driver. Metro Nashville police said he was only 20 years old, and Tennessee State had just wrapped up spring practice with their spring game on Saturday. And so then, we talked last week about the joy a lot of these players have when spring practice is finally over. 20 years old, probably his first or second spring practice.
Very sad.
And for that to happen just broke my heart.
And for his poor family and friends. I'm sorry earlier when I was talking about Rex Dockery and Steve Sloan, it happens to all of us. I just couldn't remember the hometown in East Tennessee. It was Cleveland, Tennessee. I'm sorry I couldn't remember. And also with all the remembrance of Steve Sloan, and everybody got it. Really nice, kind man, young head coach, one of the Bears' favorites as a player. He was a great player. He was SEC Player of the Year.
Wow.
He wasn't just Joe Namath's backup.
Crazy. Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me to Dodger Stadium. Anywhere else to be on Jackie Robinson Day. Never played a game in L.A., but was from there. Played his final game for the Brooklyn Dodgers in Game 7 of the 1956 World Series in a loss to the Yankees at Ebbets Field.
Wow. Beam me later tonight. Reds and Mariners. Frankie Montas versus George Kirby. Should be a fun one later tonight about 8:30. Some good Major League Baseball games tonight. And tomorrow, Brett, we'll be talking about the play-in games.
We will, and making picks.
And making picks. That's right. It's picking season.
I'm ready.
The NBA. Yeah, I'm sure you're a rookie at that.
I'm a rookie, man.
Well, that's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving